Freaking out, man. You can't handle the truth. You can't handle the truth.
What do all men in power want? More power.
And now, broadcasting live on GMN from an undisclosed location in the Arizona desert. Italian by birth, American by choice. Songwriter, poet, freedom activist, Luca Zanna with Love, Guns, and Freedom.
All systems go.
Don't tread on us.
Hi everybody, my name is Luca Zanna. You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom on KTOX 1340 AM and on Guerrilla Media Network. Today is Sunday. Every Sunday I try to bring information with the only goal to retake this republic back and to pretty much understand exactly what's going on, not only in this country, America, but also around the world. I really believe we are living in very, very dangerous times when it comes down to freedom, individual rights, and unfortunately I wish all the things we're talking here, they were just a bunch of conspiracies. At the same time, I also see hope. I see hope when I see human beings, people, in this case Americans, like the guest I have today. People who are ready to pretty much sacrifice even their lives and their safety just to stand by the principles that pretty much this republic was founded upon. And that for me was one of the reasons why I was inspired to leave Italy and to come to America. And I'm not saying that everything is perfect. Of course, we are human beings and there is corruption everywhere. But if I had to look around the world in the last 5,000 years of civilization, a system, even if with its imperfections, but close to the idea of where human beings have rights, not privileges, I think America was the best example we were able to accomplish. And unfortunately, we see every day is disappearing. Now, today's guest, it's a very special honor for me to have him here. And he doesn't need presentation, but he will introduce himself pretty soon. All I can say that he's a man that I have the utmost respect. His name is William-Binney. Mr. Binney, are you there?
Yes, I am. Thanks for having me.
Thank you, sir. And please, I would like to go straight to business. I would like to, first of all, let you yourself introduce a little bit about your professional background, because we must understand you are the person talking about some very important topics, and you have a lot of credentials to talk about these topics. Go ahead, please. Where are you?
Well, I've served 4 years in the military and 32 years as a civilian working at the National Security Agency. So I have a long career, and afterwards I worked several years as a contractor, a consultant to assisting in intelligence in the intelligence community of the United States. So I've got close to 40 years total of experience in intelligence for the U.S. government in support of democracy that we founded here, almost 240 years ago. So that's my background, and unfortunately, I was a developer of some very powerful systems that have been turned around and used against the people of the United States, and that's been something I've been speaking out against since 2001.
Yes, and exactly that's the date that I see on your record that you, correct me if I'm wrong, according to the information that I have, October the 31st of 2001, you pretty much, you resigned from the NSA, correct?
Yes, so I was eligible to retire, so I retired.
You
at
retired.
That time, yeah.
Good.
Right.
Good for you. Okay. And that was under the Bush administration, of course. And
yes.
And then what happened to you? I mean, you started to become kind of vocal on many issues and pointing fingers out. Like, I think it's also part of your duty when you upheld and took the oath to defend this constitutional republic against all enemies, foreign and domestic. I think you did, in my opinion, you were pointing out and just you were doing your duty. What was the problem, in your opinion? What was exactly the danger and the criminal acts, if you want to look at pretty much violating our constitution? What was happening with NSA?
Well, what NSA started to do was to pull in data on the communications of U.S. citizens with other U.S. citizens inside the country. It was all domestic espionage. So they were mapping out the social networks of everybody and monitoring their contacts and relationships over time. And then they eventually started pulling in content of information, which meant recording phone calls and taking in emails and things of that nature, so that they had the record of what people were saying to one another, as well as the fact that they said it. So they were basically violating the Fourth Amendment, the First Amendment in terms of Constitution saying you have the right to free association. They were violating that the Constitution doesn't say that you have the right to free association as long as the government knows about it, which is what was going on. And the Fourth Amendment was that everyone has the right to privacy in their affairs, that the government has no business having records of their affairs and effects unless they have probable cause, can show that to a judge and get a warrant.
Yes.
And that's basically what they've been doing, is doing every citizen of the United States, approximately 280 million of us,
wow,
who use phones and emails and so on. If you do that and use bank accounts or credit cards or anything, then you're being monitored and watched and collected. All the data's been collecting on you. So my problem was very, very simple. I couldn't be a party to the violations of all the constitutional amendments and the founding principles of why our country, what our country was formed. I mean, we fought a revolution over general writs, which is what the FISA court ordered on the Verizon. That's a general writ, a general warrant.
Yes.
For the data on over 110 million people. Now, the Fourth Amendment says, and this judges should have known this. I mean, they're supposed to know that the Constitution. I mean, it says that you cannot get data on a U.S. citizen unless you have probable cause, and name the place you want to get the data, type of data you want, and when you're going to go get it. And that's what that amendment says, and that warrant violated every principle involved there.
Yes, and I would like to say this is a no-partisan show. I have no more party affiliation. I believe, especially since I became an American, that I'm an American first. And I realized that a long time ago, that doesn't matter which party, they are pretty much doing and continuing and pretty much pursuing the same agenda. For example, we know very well the Patriot Act under Bush started this very dangerous trend. But before even Bush, there were other programs under the Clinton that pretty much they were starting to record. Of course, never maybe at the same level like they're doing this Echelon used to do overseas. But Obama, for sure, and correct me if I'm wrong, I mean, I'm just reading facts, he never really improved anything, but I think also he went deeper and worse on continuing this agenda of unconstitutionality, for example, not only with the Patriot Act, but also with the National Defense Authorization Act, and also continuing on spying and collecting data on everybody. What do you think?
Yes, that's exactly correct. Obama expanded what Bush started. I mean, Bush was bad enough, but Obama has added much more in terms of budgets and capabilities to NSA and also CIA and others to try to accumulate data on U.S. citizens. I mean, and you pointed out the NDAA, National Defense Authorization Act, Section 1021 of that says that it authorizes the president to take anybody, have the military take anybody off the street if he thinks they're a terrorist threat. He can have them incarcerated indefinitely, giving them no due process or any rights whatsoever, even if you're a U.S. citizen. Well, that is directly analogous to Special Order 48 issued by the Nazis in 1933 after the Reichstag fire. It says exactly the same thing, and that's how they got rid of all their enemies.
Yes, and this is giving me chills on my back because let me tell you, I mean, studying human history, not just American history, what we are facing here, it is something so bad, especially happening in this country. I come from Europe where we didn't really have basic Bill of Rights. Mostly the government gives you privileges. But here, what happens now, we're going before pre-Magna Carta. I mean, I don't even think in China they come to this point. They give you a phony trial and then they shoot you in the back. Here means that now the government has completely an unchecked power to any one of us. We can be pretty much kidnapped and thrown in the dungeon, no more jail, and never come out anymore, and even eventually executed. I mean, if this is something that doesn't give people chills, I don't care which party you're from. This is about, it's a human issue. It's a human rights issue. And this is disturbing that it's happening and people do not have enough concerns, in my opinion, at least the average person out there. What do you think? I mean, this is something that are we ever going to get back? Because this is scary, honestly.
Yes, well, the only way we can get it back is if we all stand up and start objecting to this and embarrassing the people who are supposed to, I mean, everybody that in Congress,
yes,
and in the White House and in the courts, anybody who supports this activity is in fact violating their oath of office, which was, their oath of office is very simply put to protect and defend the Constitution against all enemies, foreign and domestic.
Exactly.
Well, I mean, here we have nothing but a bunch of domestic enemies of our Constitution, and nobody's standing up to defend it.
Yes, I agree. And this is not just Obama. Obama, at the end of the day, is just the man that would put his final signature on this piece of abomination called legislation. I mean, there is a Senate, there is a Congress, and there is a list of congressmen and senators who voted for this. And this is more than just a man. I mean, like Hitler, he didn't do everything by himself. He had enough people to support his thoughts. Now, another thing that we need to start to probably understand, when we have a government, or at least part of a government, who has unlimited power to control every aspect of our lives, and I mean, you know, everybody got their private life, and sometimes there be little secrets, and doesn't mean that nothing bad, but could be something embarrassing, especially if you are in a political career, like a public figure, like could be a federal judge, or maybe a Supreme Court judge, or a congressman. Is it possible, and is it just a speculation, but I'm just guessing and asking a question, is it possible that maybe the same tools that the NSA has to spy on every aspect of our life could be used to blackmail some of the legislators of the judicial system, people that we have in position to keep these check and balances that we used to have? What do you think?
That's absolutely, certainly that is a very clear threat. I mean, because I think that's what they're doing with the people. They're using it, for the example, against people who are trying to join the Tea Party or to get 501c3 authorization, you know, for their groups to be politically active, or as well as other activities, to get tax-exempt status. I mean, they use that because, you know, the IRS has access through the Special Operations Division of the Drug Enforcement Administration to the NSA data.
Wow.
So they go through that group to get into that data.
Oh my gosh.
And so that gives them a view into the entire social network of everybody involved in the Tea Party. And if you're in any way connected and you're applying for 501c3, they could know about it by looking at that data.
So, and everything else, I mean, doesn't mean just be the Tea Party. They can pretty much now, for what I understand, the NSA can, the IRS can tap on these special records to pretty much check everything you do, even from your...
Yeah, and check everybody, including the Occupy groups, anybody. It's any political activity. I mean, it's going to be... I'm sure it's going to go back and forth between which party is in power in the White House.
I don't even think it makes any difference anymore. I mean, seriously.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's the Republicans will use it against the Democrats, and then the Democrats will use it against the Republicans. I mean, this goes back in time. That's what Nixon did back when he was in.
Yeah. And by the way, it's
very similar.
You were there. I was even probably born there. But Nixon, I mean, I was born, but I was a child. I was in Italy. Nixon got in trouble because he was spying probably on a couple of people, right?
Yeah, a few thousand, not the hundreds of millions.
Yeah, exactly.
Now it's, I mean, he had a program called Minaret, which was the program that NSA ran to spy against his enemies, the people he considered to be enemies, those opposing the war and his political enemies.
Yeah.
And at FBI, it was called COINTELPRO.
Yes.
And at CIA, it was called Chaos. Those three programs are all coordinated in attacking the same enemies list that Nixon had.
And now we know very well, it's something now became public mainstream news, that the definition of terrorism, domestic terrorist, is pretty much wide. I mean, if you believe in peace, you don't believe in unconstitutional wars, you believe in the Constitution, you're against the global government, and many other things. you're potentially a domestic terrorist. This is according to different FBI and Homeland Security documents. For example, a returning veteran is considered a potential domestic terrorist. So
that's disgraceful, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a disgrace. And that's why we must understand, especially for people, because there is always a part of humanity that says, I have nothing to hide. After all, they're after the bad guys. And, if I have nothing to hide.
Can I add 2 points to that?
Of course, even three.
When you say you have nothing, if you have nothing to hide, you have nothing to fear.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead, please.
That kind of statement?
Yes.
That was also used by Joseph Goebbels, the propaganda minister of Adolf Hitler.
Yes.
It's an exact quote from him.
Yes.
Plus the other point is that statement is totally irrelevant. Because
exactly.
what you, the individual, think is absolutely irrelevant. It only matters what the administration or the government thinks.
Exactly. I mean, what is the difference between America, this United States, or used to be this, now the United States of America under Barack Hussein Obama, 2015, and the Stasi, East Germany under the Stasi? What is the difference regarding this sort of apparatus that pretty much is monitoring every aspect of our life? Is there any difference?
Yes, the difference is that the Stasi used to keep paper records on everybody.
Mm-hmm.
The current administration keeps electronic records.
Wow, so much deeper.
Yeah, it's much more reactive. I mean, they can monitor a much larger amount of information electronically. They can compile a lot more data, and they can analyze it using algorithms much faster and more on a much larger scale than the Stasi could ever dream of.
Yes. And let's put some practical examples, because sometimes people, they think this is just some sort of, imaginary situation. This is practical life. For example, myself, my name is Luca Zanna. I'm here talking to you right now through this digital communication, Skype, but I'm calling it landline. I'm sure this phone call is being monitored, correct? Or at least recorded?
Well, it's probably recorded, yeah.
Yes. By the way, just for the record, maybe it was a coincidence. After we talked a few times over trying to arrange this interview, my cell phone got somehow, I have a little Net 10 cell phone with no contract, never gave me problem. The blue got locked for a few hours. Maybe it was just some magnetic field from the sun, I want to see. But the problem is that I had another phone with another number, always from a Net 10, and it was working fine. So just for the record, little bit of news and gossip. I don't know. But question. Now, this is recorded, and where they storage all these conversations? Because it's a lot of data, by the way. Is there a specific place in America that they storage all this data?
Actually, it's a number of places. If you look on the web, if you Google a program called Fairview, Fairview, and NSA, just do Fairview NSA, and you'll see all the tapping points on the fiber optic network. There's about 80, somewhere between 80 and 100 of them.
Wow.
And it's all around the United States. It basically maps to the population disposition or density of the United States.
Mm-hmm.
And so those have limited storage capacity in individual sites, but also there are much larger sites for long-term storage like Utah, San Antonio, and over at Fort Meade. They're building a 3 million square foot facility over here at Fort Meade now after they just broke ground for a 600,000 square foot facility over there to store data. Now they're building a 3 million square foot facility. Now
gosh.
That's 3 times the size of the Utah facility.
That's amazing. So, is there any...
Well, those are the places where they store things for long periods of time.
Yeah, that means
but
forever.
The others are much shorter periods. They probably have a window of, especially for phone calls, which I think my estimate would be they're recording on the order of 80% of every phone call in the United States.
Wow, 80%.
And they probably have a window of somewhere between 20 and 30 days to get back to it and look at it. I mean, that's how Tim Clementi, the ex-FBI agent, could go on to CNN right after the Boston bombing, if you recall. He went on CNN and said that the FBI was currently questioning the wife of one of the Tsarnaev brothers about the phone call that they had prior to the bombing, and that if she didn't tell the truth, why the intelligence community and the FBI had a way of getting back to what was said on that phone call. Well, that's because it was recorded.
Wow.
So So there's a recording there.
They record everything.
That they can get back to.
Wow. And nobody, in the government at this point, because I think the federal judges and the Supreme Court, pretty much everything is fine, I guess, right? According to the system right now. There is nobody.
Well, they're not actually. You know how they say this is all legal and everything's above board and all that. Well, that's first of all, that's why the telecommunication company had to get retroactive immunity for all the crimes they were committing. And also, they have a bill floating around down in Washington now. I don't know whether it's passed or not yet, but in there is one of the sections was was to get retroactive immunity for the internet service providers, again, because of all the crimes they've been committing.
Yeah.
But again, the government is fighting as hard as they can to keep a case that I'm supporting, which is Jewel versus NSA. And that case is moving its way toward the Supreme Court. And because of Edward Snowden and all the material he's released, as well as other material from Mark Klein and various other people, and including affidavits that Tom Drake and I have signed, and also Kirk Wiebe have signed affidavits in support of that lawsuit, because it's challenging that constitutionality of NSA collecting all this data on U.S. citizens without having any warrants.
Yeah.
And they're fighting to keep that out of the Supreme Court, because if it gets up there, it gets declared unconstitutional, then everything the government has done, all the laws for giving retroactive immunity fall. Those are no longer valid, and all those people are now liable for everything they did. And the reason it is that way, very simply put, you cannot pass a law that does not conform to the Constitution. If it violates the Constitution, it's not a law. And that's why they're trying as hard as they can, the government, to keep it out of the... If they believed that what they were doing was legal, they should have supported moving that case right into the court. In fact, what they did with the case that a friend of mine, Chris Hedges, was a member, a supporter of that lawsuit, or one of the complainants, was Amnesty International versus Clapper. And that case did make it to the Supreme Court. And the way they got that thrown out of the court was they had the Solicitor General of the United States lie to the Supreme Court to get that case thrown out. He said that basically that if anybody was in a court of law or any of the data that NSA was collecting was being used against them, that they would be told, because they have the right to discovery challenge, right?
Yes.
In a court of law, under the Constitution, their rights, that if any of the NSA data was being used against them in a court of law, why, they would all be told. Well, that was an outright lie. They were never told. No one was ever told. In fact, when we addressed that issue to the President's Civil Liberties Oversight Board, they told us very simply that, from now on, everybody's going to be told. Well, what about all those thousands of people you put in jail because of that?
Yeah.
I mean, that's perjury. They perjured themselves in all those cases, as well as perjuring themselves to the Supreme Court. And the Supreme Court, if I were on the Supreme Court, I would demand that case be reinstated, and it be reinstated with prejudice against the government for lying to the court.
As I said before, and this is just my speculation, of course, how do we know that maybe even the men and women sitting on the Supreme Court, they don't have something maybe to hide, or maybe they've been blackmailed, because with this type of technology, they pretty much can dig every aspect of your life. And we know very well that even private life, that's supposed to be private business, but when it comes down to this sort of public figures, could be devastating, some maybe sexual choices or some private habits, or who knows? I mean, I don't know, but for sure, something that could be very dangerous to compromising pretty much honesty and integrity. Now, are there some specific keywords? Because, the point is, I came all the way to this country, and one of the things, I'm not a tough guy, I'm a regular guy. I didn't serve in any army. I'm just a regular guy. But I said always to myself, I didn't came to America to be a coward. I didn't come to America to be a slave. I left Italy and Europe because I wanted to be a free man, for whatever freedom means, or what is left of this concept of freedom. So, NSA, I know you're listening to me, and I really want to challenge you, and I know you're the expert. And you tell me that there are some, the question is, are any type of critical keywords that would put you on the NSA watch list? By the way, I'm already on some list, I'm sure about it. What would you say? If you can give some advice.
Yes, there are. In fact, there's a whole dictionary list of words, and Actually, some of the material that the Snowden documents showed was very clearly they have a dictionary word selection process that they go through with the X key score program that lets them interrogate all this data.
Okay. Give me 3, please. Can you give me 3? Can you help me out to be on the list?
Well, for example, some of the words were published, like the Department of Homeland Security, which also looks into the NSA data, had their list of words, and one of the words on there was the word pork.
Pork.
Pork. So if I send an email to my wife at home from work, and I said, "Honey, let's have pork tonight for dinner," that would hit one of their words, and so that would be a highlight for them to look at.
Pork. Okay, give me the second.
I mean, that's just insane. I mean, that's no way to do any intelligence. I mean, we knew that when we were there 20 years ago. That's not the way to do intelligence.
Listeners,
I mean, that's how you render the wrong people. You have words that their names are words, and they look alike with other words.
Okay, pork.
And so when you make those mistakes, you render the wrong people, or you kill the wrong people, or whatever. You drone them.
You drone them. You're right.
That's not the way. That's not a disciplined intelligence way, and that's why they're failing so badly. I've been calling it. They talk about the needle in the haystack, and it doesn't help to make the haystack orders of magnitude bigger because it makes it orders of magnitude harder to find the needle.
Wow.
Well, I just called everything that's happening: the Boston bombing, the Times Square bombing attempt, the underwear bomber, all of that, the shoe bomber, all that stuff, even 9/11, all that. I call that a data bulk failure.
Yes.
Because they're collecting so much data, they can't find anything that's important.
Mr. Binney, maybe they are not stupid. Maybe they're just doing by design. I mean, sometimes people say President Obama is failing us, he's not a smart guy. I think they're doing exactly by the book. I mean, they cannot go out and say, we are planning to do this, this, and this. No, we want to look like we're doing our best, but sorry, like 9/11, I'm sorry, we could not do enough. No, I think they had more than they're trying to tell us. Now, pork is the first word.
They are. I know that. And that's what I've been trying to say, too. The whole idea was to build a bigger government, get a bigger budget, and not solve the problem. So, because if you solve the problem, you can't use the problem to get more money.
Exactly. Now,
so you keep the problem going, and my sense of the vision statement for the military-industrial intelligence complex is keep the problem going so the money keeps flowing.
Exactly, and you're right on.
And so I've been saying for years now that they've traded the security of the people of the United States and the free world for money.
Yes.
And that's why we had 9/11, because they didn't want to solve the problem before 9/11.
Yeah, and by the way, President Eisenhower, in his last speech, farewell speech, pretty much tried to warn us there. And
yes, January 1960, yeah.
Yes. Now, we'll go back to 9/11. Just let's go back 1 second to these keywords. I'm taking notes because I'm going to have a little poem I'm going to do pretty soon. I'm a little poet by hobby. So, pork is a bad word, and you get on the list. Very good. Second word that you're going to get you on the NSA list, please.
Well, I assume that they have all the words that would apply to Al-Qaeda and the names of people.
Al-Qaeda. Okay, let's just keep it simple. Al-Qaeda, pork.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, and maybe Hamas and Hezbollah and,
what if I say Obama is a bad word? I mean, is it put me on the list?
I wouldn't think they'd have that on the list, but you see, the problem with that is that when you put those words on lists like that, you get all these reporters all around the world talking about Al-Qaeda and all this, and that sucks up everything they say. It all gets dumped on the analysts to try to see and look through.
Okay.
That's the problem with it.
Okay, pork, Al-Qaeda, and I say Obama, just because it's me, I think that, I'm just guessing. Okay, now, every listeners, if you want to do some patriotic jest right now, okay? First of all, we show we are not afraid. The moment that we are afraid, this is going to be like Nazi Germany, 1934, everybody starts to freeze, And that's why the dogs start to come for your throat. No, we're going to show them that we're here. And I don't care about their drones. I don't care about their black ops. I don't care about anything they can do to this body. I'm here as a free human being. I'm here as a new American. And I'll challenge you, devils, with 3 keywords. And I hope I'm going to be on top of that list. Otherwise, I'm not doing my job fairly enough. And I would like that you listeners and all my friends and guys listening this conversation and this recording, because I'm going to also put this out on YouTube for the next generation after us, we will try to start to use these words as many times as you can in your phone conversation. Think about it, 280 millions of us, 300 millions. If everybody of us today starts to say, Obama, pork, Al-Qaeda, or whatever sense you want to put it. You want to put Al-Qaeda, Obama, pork, or vice versa. Find your different type of, order. Use it every time you can. Their computer, I know it must be a super powerful computer, but if we got 300 millions of us, every day we wake up, get the phone and call a friend, say, how you doing? Good morning, pork. And how's it doing, Al-Qaeda? By the way, say hi to Obama. Yep. That would be fun because we are all going to be on that list and we're going to mess their world pretty heavy. Don't you think it would be fun?
And don't you think don't forget to put it in your emails.
In your emails, you're right. Yep. So, very good. I'm glad. This is very proactive. It's not just talking about the problem. We want to solve the problem. In my opinion, as a human being, I say, don't be afraid, but let's expose them that we are here standing together regardless our main. Sometimes we have little differences of opinion on other issues, but now we are united as Americans, as a human beings against tyranny. Simple as that. And you see, it wasn't just about Bush. It's also Obama.
There's some other things you can add to that, though, too.
Go ahead.
When you're on Facebook, put it there. If you tweet, put it there. Mm-hmm. If you send messages on your phone, send it there. Mm-hmm. Just put words in there anywhere, and you'll get the same effect. Excellent.
By the way, it's funny because this is not really funny. I mean, I grew up in Italy listening to stories from my grandfather about fascism, Mussolini, how people were dragged in the middle of the night out of their homes and beat up. And I come here and I see this is almost like a techno-fascism, even worse, as you said, because before everything was on papers. Now it's everything real time. But doesn't matter. Maybe that's why I'm here. Maybe that's why I need to fulfill my destiny along with my fellow Americans and try to face together this evil. Now.
Yes, we're standing up and fulfilling the responsibilities of citizens of this country.
And that's what I was going to say. People like yourself, Mr. Binney, I'm so happy, and so you made my day. More important, you made my journey as a new citizen of this country really almost fulfilled, because I came here with an ideal of America. Of course, as I said, we are made, every country is made by humans, and there are always mistakes, and nobody's perfect. But when I left Italy, I came with an ideal of justice, freedom, a basic bill of rights that no other country ever had. And I came always with an idea of American men and women, especially coming from Anzio, a little town on the Tyrrhenic Sea. It was a part of the conflict of World War II, like Normandy. Many American men, and women too, Red Cross, died, for somebody else, freedom. That's the bottom line was. And when I came here, I came with this ideal of people like yourself. And today, you gave me the opportunity to renew my, not only my oath, but also my energy and give me hope. When I see people like yourself, that pretty much, you're not playing with kids here. I mean, when you start to speak up like you've been doing the last years about these crimes, it's such a powerful organization. How your life was changed after you resigned, or you said that you retired, and you started to be vocal, exposing these crimes, or these alleged crimes. Did you get repercussion? Did you get some blowbacks, or whatever you want to call it?
Oh yeah, I mean, sure. They basically blackballed us. We couldn't get any work, so any job that we got by the NSA or the FBI made sure that we got terminated.
Wow.
And then after that, they came at us with in my case, with guns, and they raided us and threatened us with prosecution.
Really?
And the Department of Justice threatened us 3 separate times from 2007 through 2009, through the end of 2009, with indictments and prosecution.
Oh my gosh!
And so we had to lawyer up, and that cost us money to take care of that. And the only reason they stopped that was because in the end, on the last attempt they made, our lawyer said that the prosecutor in the Department of Justice said he was going to indict us. That is, the people I was involved with in my small group and small company. Mm-hmm. I had assembled evidence of malicious prosecution. So
wow.
The way I got that information across the Department of Justice, what I'd planned to do was charge them with malicious prosecution when they took us to court. Mm-hmm. What I did to get them to understand what I was going to do was I called Tom Drake, and I knew his phone was tapped by the FBI.
Yeah.
So at that point, I said, Tom, they're going to indict us. Our lawyer told us that, and so here's all the evidence I've assembled on malicious prosecution of these people, and be prepared to tell your lawyer because we're going to charge them with it when we go to court.
Wow.
And I read the evidence across to them. So they knew exactly what was going on. Now, obviously, somebody over there at the Department of Justice felt very bad about what they were doing to us or trying to do to us. So what they did was they passed out a draft copy of their indictment of us. So we have that draft copy.
Wow.
So they felt very bad about it. And so after I made that phone call, because 1 month after that, we got letters of immunity from the Department of Justice.
Amazing. Amazing.
So
Amazing.
it's, they didn't, they realized these people are cowards, okay? They're cowards.
Yes.
They're afraid to say what they're doing to the American public because they know the public would come up. I mean, they get impeached and indicted.
Yes.
They know what they're doing is wrong, and they're afraid to be open and honest about it with everybody.
If I could do a very humble, simple man analysis, for me, these look like roaches, when you go to your kitchen. Sometimes, summer times, I live in the desert, but roaches, once in a while, at night, they like to get out of their holes. The moment that you put a spotlight on them, roaches hide. That's what they are. They're a bunch of overpaid roaches. NSA, if you can listen to me. And by the way, there are also some good people. I don't think everybody's bad. There are some decent men and women like yourself. They're trying to do their job and trying to fulfill their duty. But now, look what's happening. I mean, whistleblowing during Bush was bad. But under Obama, it seems like also it's getting worse. Am I right or wrong?
No, you're absolutely right. I mean, he's prosecuted or attempted to prosecute more whistleblowers than anybody else, any other assembled presidents. He's got from all the way from Washington back up to current times. I mean, he's prosecuted more than all of them combined.
Oh my gosh!
So the point is that they are, and the reason why he doesn't have more whistleblowers because they're threatening and they're trying to advertise what they're doing to us. They do that internally in NSA and various other agencies. See what we do to people who object to what we're doing. That's exactly the way they portray it internally. And so they're threatening the working population of the government with and indictments and loss of jobs. And loss of financial support or anything else, and they're just basically making everybody afraid to do anything.
Yeah, think about
this is just exactly what the KGB, the STASI, the Gestapo. This is traditional procedures for dictators and totalitarian states.
Exactly, and you know what? This is a message for everybody, for the Bushoids or Obamanoids. Please stop for a moment playing politics. And now, since the guy in charge, for whatever is in charge, I think he's a puppet, but still, supposedly everything stops, the buck stops with him, Mr. Obama. Think about what the words we just heard. I mean, this is something that the left or the Democrats, whatever you want to call themselves, you used to somehow try to expose Bush for his war crimes or for his crimes against the Constitution. And I was with you. I understand you were right. But now look what Obama is doing. Why don't we all stand up together and stop playing this party game and we all finally start to say, stop. We know that this is a scam and Obama, you are as bad as the other one, even worse. Because this is a fact. This is not a political speech. I'm not trying to save anybody's man here. This is not a partisan issue. Now, Mr. Binney, what you say is so serious because, let's visualize, for example, a man working for an agency with a mortgage, a family, a wife, maybe a couple of kids, and he wants to do the right thing or she wants to do the right thing when she sees or he sees evil or corruptions or criminals acts. And he can't say that because the moment that he opens his mouth, he's going to lose everything. He can't even afford anymore to pay his mortgage. I mean, this is so serious.
Right. That's what they depend on to make sure that everybody stays quiet.
Yes. And anyway, you're retired, so you're still collecting your check from your pension, I hope, right?
Yes, I'm still retired. Although they did try to take that away too.
Really?
Yeah, they did. Senator Wyden from Oregon stopped it though. In the Intelligence Committee.
I'm glad
they did try to do that.
Wow, this is amazing. I mean. We went so far. This is another country. It's another planet. And I was here just 16 years. I'm telling you, before 9/11, I see the change that 9/11 brought. And then we can talk a little bit about 9/11 because, you're the expert. I have my own opinion based on facts, of course. I can ask you something. This humongous NSA apparatus could not stop 9/11. We know that, correct? Fact. What you really
but they should have, yeah.
Exactly. What do you really think happened during 9/11, in your opinion? I mean, the official version of the government is we got these 19, Arabs, and the story, the official story. There is a joke I say, and even it's very sad. There were 2 airplanes and 3 buildings fell down. Nobody wants to talk about Building 7 that was never hit by anything. But what is the official, according to your experience, facts, and opinion? What do you think really happened to 9/11?
Well, I do believe that of course, that there were the hijackers and all the evidence was there for that, and in fact there was more evidence there after that because Tom Drake ran some programs internally on the NSA database, and they found a whole bunch more material stuff that was there that other things were supposed to happen but didn't for whatever reason, and so they had a dispersal pattern after the attacks. And the others who were supposed to do something dispersed. So there was much more to it than just the ones who actually succeeded in hijacking the plane.
Yeah, I mean, I have just having 2 eyes and just watching the television, okay, without any type of expertise or special information or data. I saw for a moment on CNN when the Pentagon pretty much was hit. A few minutes after, there was the first time shown on CNN and never appeared anymore. Was this video of this blast or this hole in the Pentagon walls that was no more than 15 feet. This is according to my eyes and connecting the data that you can see. There were no debris, there was nothing. And then, of course, this wall collapsed and enlarged. So right there, if people wants to tell me, the government wants to tell me that there was an airplane hitting this Pentagon, my logic, I mean, this is like 1984, 2 plus 2 is not 5, it is 4 in my opinion. When I see that there is a hole of 15 feet, because the CNN, mainstream media, for a moment, you can find this video on YouTube, it is not completely disappeared, and there are no more debris. I mean, we're talking about a big airplane, commercial airplane. We do 2 huge Rolls-Royce, I guess they were Rolls-Royce titanium engine. They cannot vaporize. I mean, never happened before. Where is the airplane? Simple as that. I'm not even going to say anything else, but where is the airplane? And 15 feet hole does not justify that the airplane shrunk. That's the first question I have. And then, very specifically and very simply, why Building 7 fell down? No airplanes ever hit Building 7. And why Building 7 was never even reported in the official book from this government commission about the 9/11 commission. So these are my
There were also some very suspicious, the way it fell was also very suspicious. It fell on its imprint, on its own footprint. It didn't, if you watch buildings fall like from bombs or things like that where one side of the building is weakened by some force, why it tends to collapse at an angle.
Yes.
It's towards the side that was weakened. Whereas Building 7 fell straight down on its footprint.
Yeah, and no airplane ever really touched it. I mean, that's another important thing. So I say to everybody now listening, I know people can say, oh, but after all, it was 2001, now it's 2050. Doesn't matter. If we do not finally face the truth, it's never too late to face the truth. And the reason why all this is escalating, the reason why we are losing our rights, the reason why now we are pretty much in every type of conflict, unconstitutional wars, never declared by Congress, we are broke, we are under this police state and under this sort of a soft martial law. It is because we didn't speak up when we had a chance to do it. And it is time to, first of all, understand, use our brain, and try to expose, even sometimes say, I'm just a man, I'm just a guy, I'm just a regular guy, but guess what? I'm here in this local radio station, and I'm trying to share this information with my community where I live, and I'll do everything I can. And we do what we can, because one day I believe we'll be judged, regardless how ends on this dimension, in this dimension. We may maybe lose for a moment, but at the end, we will win. because we've been given a chance today, like Mr. Binney had a chance to do the right thing. And I'm so proud of you, Mr. Binney, and your family, because I don't want to ask you something, but your family must have been go through some hard time too, to be supportive with you. I mean, am I right?
Oh, yes, absolutely. I mean, my wife was prepared. She said, I think we should leave this country.
Wow.
Right after that, because after the raid, they came pointing guns. I mean, we didn't deserve any of that, and they knew that. So
you're not a violent person. You didn't try to threaten anybody. I mean, if somebody wants to have a problem, we can talk in front of a judge and a jury. But why pointing a gun at your face? I mean, this is amazing.
Yes, that's right.
This is amazing. It's amazing, and that's all I'm saying. You know, we are here, and the purpose of the show and the purpose of this conversation, it is not to make anybody entertain. It is about to open your eyes. This is happening in America, what used to be the land of the free, home of the brave. And I'm sorry if to say, now I'm using this past tense or whatever it is, used to. Yes, used to. Now we are the land of the free, home of the slaves. It is true. The moment that we cannot have any more exercise our First Amendment right without fear to be put in a dungeon or have, SWAT teams in front of our homes. I mean, this is so sad. And you say you're a patriot, you're a veteran, you have all these years on your back as a professional in the NSA, and I find disgusting for any soldier, any troop. I know they're following the orders. That's why they're called law enforcement. That's why we need, again, peace officers, because that's what this country was at the beginning. We used to have peace officers, not just zombies following orders to break people's doors. Anyway, very good. Now, question. First of all, you gave me a little bit of, not chills, but, I heard all these things, I knew all these things, but talking to you today, by the way, I would like to remind to our listeners, we're here on the air with Mr. William-Binney. It's a veteran, and he's also spent 30 years in the NSA. Remind me one second, what is NSA? National Security Agency. Yeah. My brain is freezing. I'm telling you, for me it's kind of a shock, because I've been talking about all these things for so long, and now finally I see that this is all. I know it's true, but when I talk to you, really make it even more true. I hope I'm clear. Did you ever met, Mr. Binney, did you ever met Mr. Snowden?
No, I have not. I met his father, but not Edward Snowden, no.
Okay. Did you ever talk to him?
No, I have not.
Now, you've been saying pretty much, in my opinion, almost all the same things that Mr. Snowden has been trying to warn us. But somehow, it seems like there is a different media attention on Snowden and on you. Is it true? Or maybe just my perception?
No, that's basically true, because they're trying to characterize him to discredit what evidence he has produced for people to look at.
Yeah,
that's the whole point. They're trying to change the narrative to him being a criminal, a spy, or they're even trying to apply the 1917 Espionage Act against him. That's why they keep claiming that he has that he's had a relationship with the Russian government, because to apply that law, you have to have some way to connect it to a foreign power.
Wow.
And when you do, you see, the point is that allows them to apply the death penalty. That's what that law does. It does carry with it the death penalty, and so they can apply that, but they need to be able to make a case where he is dealing with a foreign power. And that's why they're saying he's in Russia and therefore dealing with the Russians. Mm-hmm. When in fact he's not and has not been, but they're claiming that so they can try to apply that law and apply the death penalty to him.
Wow. Is there any other agency that monitors and oversight the NSA?
Only the intelligence committees and the FISA court.
There would be.
But they're basically, our oversight is meaningless. It's a joke. It has been for decades.
Mm-hmm. It's pretty much like the fox, guarding the
chicken pen.
Yeah, great. So pretty much we have semi-gods figures telling pretty much they have access to every aspect of our life, every transaction, back transaction, online shopping, conversation, email, whatever you want to say. For example, I go to shop. I like to shop on Amazon, like books. And my books, of course, they buy probably guns, things that normally I like to talk about, America, founding fathers. I mean, this stuff is all story. You think they have access to also my type of books I read?
They did make an attempt to get the library records. I still think they can do that, but the American Library Association opposed them in a legal battle. And as far as I know, I think it was for a national security letter issued by the FBI. They won that case. Oh. So, I mean, the Library Association won that case.
For what we know.
So I thought that was one of the few wins that came down with the battle that's been going on here for years.
And let's not also forget that anyway, Amazon, for what I remember, a few months ago, somehow is renting or leasing some servers to the CIA. So I don't know exactly how much involved they could be right now. Question. There is another important thing. How the NSA is working with to collect this data around the world, okay? Do they work with other countries' national security agencies, or they just pretty much have power to infiltrate every node or every type of communication? I mean, do they have like some sort of agreement with other national security agencies from other countries, or they can just pretty much go straight to the nodes of these other countries' communication system?
Actually, there are three ways they generally do it. One is to get cooperation from the telecommunications company or the internet service providers around the world, and if they do that, they pay them for the data that they transfer to them. Otherwise, they can go with the local government and their equivalent intelligence agency and have them front for them with the companies within that country. And then get it that way. Or if they can't get cooperation either with the companies or with the governments and their agencies, they can unilaterally do it, like they did with the Cisco, between the main centers with the Cisco and not Cisco, not the Cisco routers, but between the Google centers, the data centers, when they were transferring data back and forth. Even Google didn't know those fiber lines were tapped.
Wow.
That's what they did. They did a unilateral tap on those lines.
Interesting. We're almost there. At just this point, I want to say, first of all, thank you. Thank you for being yourself. And more important, also, thank you for your family, your wife, and anybody in your family has been supporting you and going through all these hard times. And, this is time really, I believe, I'm a young guy compared to probably many other people before me. They've been trying to warn America and the world of what's happening. But I realize that we are really coming to a very dangerous time right now because the technology that they have, I mean, Hitler was nothing compared to now. Hitler didn't have this technology. This is called techno-fascism, in my opinion. They can pretty much now not only control every aspect of our life, but let's not forget, Congress just a couple of years ago approved that we have now, lawfully, according to the law, more than 30,000 drones ready to fly over our U.S. skies. And we know very well that it's called factor like facial recognition, voice recognition, and all you have to do is put some data, and they can track you not only through your email or phone, but they can pretty much spy on you wherever you go. Correct me if I'm wrong about that. Correct?
No, that's right. In fact, if you think back, if George III had this power back 240 years ago, George Washington and the Continental Congress wouldn't have made it to square one.
No, you're right. And also, let's not forget, this is a phrase that I don't have right now, the audio file, but I'm paraphrasing it, from Mr. Eric Holder, Attorney General, that pretty much says that it's okay to kill U.S. citizen on U.S. soil if they have to. I mean, this is now something that I will find the file, I will play it. So it's kind of disturbing now because these drones, they're not just used for spying, but tomorrow, let's say there are no soldiers or peace officers or law enforcement or humans. They want to pretty much do what the Nazi used to do, knocking people's doors. They don't need anymore. All they need is some sort of...
It's a violation of the Sixth Amendment due process and all.
Yeah, but now very well.
They're denying the concept. And that's my point. These people are cowards. If they wanted to scrap the Constitution? Why don't they come out and lay it on the table and say to the American public, we're scrapping the Constitution?
Because that would be open, declare war, and maybe out of 300 million people, maybe there would be even just 5% of the population, like during the Revolutionary War, they would say, sorry, can't do that. And we will, even if we have to die, we will stand together to defend our rights. Mr. William-Binney, it's been my honor, my pleasure to have met you. And I pray for you and your family, and our listener will be praying for you. And if there is anything we can do, are you writing a book or you have a book out we can buy to support you, or whatever you can do, you have a website, tell us what can we do to help beside the prayers.
Well, I don't have a book, but I'm involved with various organizations like the Government Accountability Project in Washington, D.C. They have a whistleblower.org site. I'm also involved with exposefacts.org, which is soliciting other whistleblowers to come out and expose criminality, corruption, and fraud, waste, and abuse.
Okay.
So I'm trying to get involved in these organizations that try to help bring information out so that the people can at least have a chance to be informed and know what's going on.
Thank you. Thank you very much, and please be in touch, and if there is anything else we can do here from Arizona, we'll be happy to help.
Okay, thank you very much, too.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Right. And you've been listening, and you're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with Luca Zanna. Don't go away. We'll continue in the second hour.
He's a songwriter, a poet, a rifleman.
I'm not afraid.
And a constitutional activist.
I'm not afraid.
Italian by birth.
I'm not afraid.
American by choice. Gianluca-Zanna.
I'm not afraid.
And his new CD, Love, Guns, and Freedom. 16 powerful songs on one CD from the heart of a patriot. For download or to order the CD, go to www.lovegunsfreedom.com. That's www.lovegunsfreedom.com. Lyrics for your mind, music for your heart. Gianluca Zanna's new CD, Love, Guns, and Freedom.
Have you ever met someone on an online dating site and thought, wow, this guy is perfect for me, or she is simply amazing, only to find out they were hiding a deep, dark secret? They plan to vote for Hillary. FreedomLovers.us was created for singles who want to exchange ideas and a love for freedom. People who are looking for solutions to create and defend freedom in the real world, and at the same time getting that once-in-a-lifetime chance to find their true soulmate. Whether you are interested in meeting your soulmate, making new friends, networking, or hanging out with that like-minded liberty lover, visit FreedomLovers.us. It's the first free dating site and community. So patriots, don't waste your time with other dating sites. FreedomLovers.us is the place where like-minded singles really click.
You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with Gianluca Zanna on Guerrilla Media Network. You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with Gianluca Zanna on Guerrilla Media Network. Back to the second hour. You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with Luca Zanna on KTOX 1340 AM and on Guerrilla Media Network. Don't forget also to go to the website www.lovegunsfreedom.com. The purpose of the show, as I said many times, it is not to entertain or to, keep you busy when you drive and things like that. It starts to make you think instead. More important, make us aware, because I'm talking about myself too. I'm learning a lot through this show. There's always something to learn. And the first thing we need to learn that all our rights, as an individual rights, they are completely in danger. Some of them, they've already been completely eroded, destroyed. And there is still some that they are pretty much every day we have to fight for. There was a proverb, or at least an expression, that pretty much spells it out. Muscles are like rights, or your rights are like muscles. Use them or lose them. And this is so important because it's the duty of every one of us, as American, as individuals, as people who believe in freedom, that we want to pretty much exercise our rights. The moment that we stop exercising our rights, we know for sure they're going to be gone. Now, second hour is about the Second Amendment. Mostly we talk about gun rights, also training, and everything between guns and rifles that you can imagine. Today I have a guy, it's not a guy, I call it a guy, but is a man. And for me, it is more than just a man. Is probably one of my ideal role model when it comes down to activism. And also professionally is a brain. He's not just a wannabe cowboy, okay? But I want to keep a surprise because I would like pretty much that he is going to be the one to introduce himself. Special mystery guest. Are you there?
Indeed I am.
Okay. Let's pretty much, first of all, talk about how would you introduce yourself? Who are you?
Okay, well, I'm Dr. Peter-Steinmetz. I am I call myself a research neurologist. What I study professionally is primarily how the activity of single neurons in the human brain gives rise to, our conscious perceptions and our feelings and our thoughts. And I study this basically by looking at single neuron recordings in the brains of epilepsy patients who are able to, who have electrodes implanted to look at where their seizures are coming from, and we're able to modify those electrodes and actually look at single neuron activity in the conscious human brain. So that's my primary interest from a professional point of view.
Now, this is important because normally I don't like to, people needs to show off everything, but it's good. You study for it, you're professional. And this is important because, the purpose of the show also, Doctor, that really we want to show that the gun owners, they're not just like the way they try to paint us, like a bunch of crazy, wannabe, people sleeping on the ground and having our bayonet among our teeth when we get up in the morning. I mean, we are regular people. We believe in rights. And there are every type of person, white collar, black collar, brown collar, whatever you want to say. We are Americans, and we believe in our God-given rights. And now it's important to show that, many times the stereotype of the gun owners is somebody pretty much that has no any type of cultural background. And I speak for myself. I never really made it to university because I was a drop-off. But yourself, you're the exactly opposite of what they try to paint us. You're a well-educated, professional, successful Arizonian, right?
Right. Well, yeah, thank you for the compliments. I think actually, the demographics, of course, really belie that characterization in the sense that actually gun owners on average tend to be better educated and wealthier than the average American citizen.
Wow.
So I think that the kind of the caricature, if you will, that the left likes to paint, the enemies of our Second Amendment rights likes to paint, is really quite inaccurate on a number of levels.
Exactly. But, this is the point we prove one more time that we are talking as a very, we are here as individuals and we are here with logic, and we try also to bring some perspective, because you've done something very interesting that, first of all, the first time I don't want to call it the left, because there is no difference between left and right. They bought completely for the control of us as individuals. I would like to say anyway, the propaganda media tried to paint your act that I already talked about that a few weeks ago with your attorney, but we will refresh now the memories of our listeners. Your patriotic, I would like to call it patriotic, or at least, let's say, activism act of exercising your Second Amendment right at the Phoenix airport, they try to paint it as some sort of a crazy thing. Instead, what we're showing here that there is a logic and there is pretty much a reason behind
this was a very deliberate act on my part.
Let's talk first of all what happened and when happened. Let's refresh everybody exactly what did you do and when did you do it.
Well, okay, if I can start back sort of at the beginning. So, I ended up being motivated, in a sense, to do this demonstration on the 25th of July by virtue of the fact that I had been actually to the airport with my AR-15 the previous November. And when I was there the previous November, I was there primarily to pick up my wife. My son and I had been out shooting in the desert. And we had to quickly go back to the airport to pick her up because the weather had been fantastic and we had been having a better time shooting than we thought we were going to and had spent more time out there. So we had to go directly to the airport, and when we got there, I knew that it was legal to carry firearms in the non-secured portion of the airport, and so I said to my son, well, when we go in to pick up Mommy, we're going to, take these guns with us. I don't really want to just leave them in the car, and, here's how we're going to handle it. And so we went in and actually did pick up my wife, and some people may recall that made somewhat of a news story at the time because there was some woman who saw us there. We were just peacefully standing there waiting for my wife to show up. Saw us there and then went out and found a TV news program to try to make a story out of this. Mm-hmm. At the time, the police did come up and talk to me. They, did not arrest me or detain me. I spoke to them for some time, and they informed me that what I was doing was actually perfectly legal. They wanted me to follow certain rules and keep the muzzle down and so on, which obviously is a sensible thing to do. Mm-hmm. What I did not like about that encounter was the fact that it seemed like there were so many police there, in a sense, almost trying to sort of intimidate us about what we were doing. Mm-hmm. And so after that encounter, a number of months went by, and I had just returned on July 25th. I had returned the previous evening from a flight where the TSA confiscated my son's shampoo.
Wow.
Okay. Because it was over 3 ounces or whatever their silly rule is. Mm-hmm. And I asked them at the time, I said, well, look, you're taking my property. You're a government official taking my property. I would like a receipt, please.
Yes.
Which they refused to provide. Wow. Because their legal argument is that you are surrendering the item. They're not taking it.
Maybe I don't want to surrender. What happens?
Yeah. So after that, the next morning, I thought about that on my way home, and I just was kind of annoyed by the whole situation. And so I said to my wife the next morning, okay, I think I'm going to go down and make another demonstration at the airport. I'm going to take my AR-15 and I'm going to walk, and this is what I did. I walked carefully along the boundaries of the TSA checkpoints. I actually entered at one checkpoint, then visited another, and then I walked actually the entire length of Terminal 4, which is a rather long terminal when you look at it.
Yes.
Without anyone really being particularly alarmed or upset. Mm-hmm. Basically, people, some people noticed I was carrying a gun. I think most people didn't even notice. Of course, most people are worried, where's my gate? Am I going to be late for my flight? A few people noticed. Some of them kind of acknowledged me in an approving manner. Others were kind of more, but basically no one was running away in fear or being alarmed or anything. So I went and I visited another checkpoint, and then I went to the Starbucks coffee shop to get a hot chocolate. And this is an example, actually, of just one of the many examples of inaccuracy in the media where it was widely reported as being a coffee, but actually was a hot chocolate.
Okay.
So I got my hot chocolate, and I was served there, I think, pretty normally. And at that point, I actually thought, well, gosh, maybe things have changed here in the airport from the last time I was here.
Yeah.
Maybe it's the way it should be, that I can mind my own business, peacefully go about my business, and leave and go home. Mm-hmm. And as I was leaving the Starbucks, then I was suddenly approached about, I think, 4 or 5 police officers came kind of at a trot. One of them actually carrying an AR-15 in low ready.
Wow.
And began demanding, what are you doing here? Are you meeting someone? What's going on? And I just told them, I'm going to actually go over and inspect that TSA checkpoint over there. And they said, well, you can't do that. And I'm like, well, isn't the boundary over there? And they're like, no, this stops with me right here, right now.
Stops with me. Who is God? I mean, it tells you where you revise.
Yeah, I have no idea by what authority they thought that was the case.
Yeah.
So at that point, I began a conversation with them. I said, well, am I being detained? And at first I was told I was being detained. Mm-hmm. They then offered to take my firearm for the safety of everyone. I declined and just stated that I would prefer to retain my own firearm. I then asked them again, am I being detained? I received no answer. I asked them if they had any reasonable suspicion I was about to commit a crime. Mm-hmm. There was no answer. I asked them, am I free to leave? And there was no answer. So at that point, I just left and walked down the other side of Terminal 4.
Wow.
Now, of course, when you've got a person walking along being followed by 6 police officers, that's where we begin to see sort of a disturbance.
Yes, people start to get a little bit nervous at this point. They created the drama.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. I think, I had walked the entire distance to the other side with really no drama. but they were creating a drama there. And then we got down finally to the other checkpoint, and I asked them, well, how close do you advise I can approach here? And they said, well, you can go up to the line, but we don't want to see any operational interference. So I went up to the line, observed there was no operational interference. I was also looking actually at the scanners that were deployed there because I hadn't looked at them in Terminal 4 for a while. And as you know, the microwave scanners are supposed to be moved out of these major airports, so I was checking on that. Mm-hmm. When I turned around and started to walk over to a set of seats where I was going to sit down and finish my hot chocolate, the police were kind of joking with me. They're, making sort of, I guess, sarcastic remarks. They're like, well, do you mind if we hang with you to protect your rights and all?
Wow.
So at this point I said, well, sure, if you wish to, gentlemen. And I looked for a set of seats where we could all sit down if they wanted to sit down. And I found an empty row of seats. And at this point, as I was approaching it, I realized I wanted to rotate the muzzle of my rifle upward. If I was going to sit down, I wanted to send it on its buttstock so it would be more stable and less likely to be a danger to anyone.
Yes.
So I looked directly across the way, and I saw there's a TSA checkpoint over there. There's people over there. So I looked to the right, and I found an area where there were no people directly in front of me. And then in that plane, I rapidly rotated the muzzle of the rifle upward and turned around and sat down. Wow. Now, at this point...
So you were nothing really, nobody was talking to you, you were not interacting with anybody, you were just minding your business, trying to find a place where to sit pretty much.
Yes, that's what was happening right at that moment. That's right. And as I said, I was very cautious to make sure that the muzzle was not pointed at anyone. Of course, I also had the safety on the rifle at all times. So there's really no chance of a discharge. And
just to remind our listeners, you are in a complete safe area. This is Arizona, by the way. It's not New York State or California. Right. So our state laws pretty much confirm that there was no breaking or infringing any laws. And more important, also, of course, you were in the safe part, in the area, non-secure area of the airport where it's legal. There are no restrictions. Right. So you weren't breaking any law. You were just pretty much now trying to exercise your Second Amendment right to make a point. At the same time, you were surrounded by all this display of law enforcement. They like to call themselves. Of course, peace officers, the word is gone. Now they are law enforcement. They were trying to figure it out which law they could enforce to knock you down. Pretty much.
Well, actually, that became quite clear after I sat down. Because after I sat down, a conversation which I could overhear began between the officers, and they said, well, this needs to end now. Well, wow. What can we arrest him for? Let's see. How about endangerment? Well, I don't know. And it went on for a while, and then finally one officer said to the other, literally, go ask those people over there if they would be willing to be a victim.
Wow. This is as bad as it can get, seriously. Talking about these people, they're supposed to have taken an oath to our state constitution, of course, also to our Bill of Rights and United States Constitution, and they sound like a bunch of wannabe thugs, that they are thugs anyway, they're different that they have, the uniform. And don't get me wrong, there are also some decent peace officers. I met some, they were really respectful and defending our rights, but they sound like a really bunch of scum. Sorry. And, I don't know that I read it quite that antagonistically, but I think that, they were concerned, right, that someone is walking around with an AR-15, and I think that the final straw was the sitting down. I do think that there's a component there that amounted to, who is this guy? That he has the temerity to just sit down and finish his chocolate while we're sitting here and following him. Yeah. Right. Well, can I say something? Because, this is so important. What you're doing and what you've done, there are, of course, things that probably could have been done better. As a friend, absolutely, as a fellow of, America that I never met you, and, probably I don't know if we ever will meet, but I believe that we are united in the cause of our freedom. And I believe that people like you really is going to make the difference in this country. And that's why, and it is true. It is true. That's why I want to talk. You are not a political activist. You are not somebody that Jesse Jackson or whatever. They try to do something to try to any personal gain. You got your own life. You got your own career. And all you were trying to do to basically exercise your right. And the moment that you realize when we have no more rights, when we're trying to exercise them and we get knocked down, like was it what they were trying to do to you? Remember, this is what's happening right now here. You've done with your heart, I think, a great thing. The only thing, I'm sure I don't need to tell you, you would have done differently, probably you would have brought some back up. especially with a video camera. Don't you think
yeah,
that?
originally, actually, I had planned to do that, but then at the last minute, that kind of didn't work out. But you're right. I think that actually it's pretty important to have a video. Certainly, a video filmed from a different point of view, I think, would have made the case even more powerfully, right? That the gun was rotated only in a safe manner.
And real witnesses, not just some intimidated person that were just there, co-opted by the cops. Say what you think. Don't you think this is intimidating you? And they say, oh yeah, right, and put it on file. So and why it's so important? Many people may say, oh, you know what, why you need all this drama? Why don't you keep your damn AR-15 at home? This is exactly why, and this is my opinion, of course, then you will say your opinion. The moment that when we have laws on the book, okay, that we fought, in a political way, this state of Arizona, it wasn't just created because a bunch of desert rocks and scoiades decided to say, okay, this is the legislation that we have. No, people behind in our political life, with our political activism, just be involved in the system. We wanted to live in Arizona because we still have some basic rights, okay? Not perfect, but when it comes down to the Second Amendment, we fought pretty hard, and I think we got one of the best states where we have right, not a privilege. Now, when we have the rights already on the book, and we have police force or peace officers or law enforcement, whatever you want to call them, they do not respect our laws, and they try to pretty much intimidate and put in a state of fear and also deny your rights, okay? When we have the rights that they're already really in black and white, what do you think is going to happen if we didn't have these rights? I mean, the point is this selective enforcement of laws cannot go like this. The point, the politicians in the state capitol, at the state capitol, they can write all the laws, the most beautiful laws that we want. We can have the best Bill of Rights of the planet, of the universe. But the point is, who's going to defend it if not us exercising it? And that's why we lost it the last 50, 60 years. Because people think, hey, we live in America. We have the Bill of Rights. Guess what? Nobody's going to defend the Bill of Rights. Are you going to stand up for the Bill of Rights? That's why what you did, I think, is very important. You show, first of all, that regardless of the laws that we have in the state, if we do not fight back, if we do not stand up, probably that's the best way. You were just standing up for your rights and fighting politically, of course. We're going to lose it. And, you're not even just the average Joe out there. Imagine somebody that, maybe doesn't have the economic background to defend himself, because you were throwing the middle of these vultures ready to jump on you, and when they put the handcuffs of you, they're going to give you, some sort of a substandard legal defense counsel, from public defender. You're going to rot in jail, even if you've done nothing wrong. So this is my personal opinion. That's why I commend you for what you've done, because you just exactly did what every one of us should do. I mean, seriously. If one day you ever wanted to do this, I don't know exactly what's going on, but if ever, just hypothetical, you want to do it again, we got to be hundreds of there. No one, 100.
Yeah, I think it is a more powerful demonstration, actually, with a large number of people, obviously. But as I say, I just made up my mind that I was tired of these attempts at intimidation. And, as I've said in my op-ed piece, which I published in the Arizona Republic, our rights are not suspended because other people have irrational fears.
Exactly.
And what was going on here in the airport with my arrest was essentially the nexus, if you will, of three irrational fears, right? The fear of particular kinds of firearms, like an AR-15, which have been demonized, and it's just ridiculous because 49 times more crime is committed with a handgun than with a rifle. And a fear of open carriers, which again is open carriers are just the most, by and large, are just the most law-abiding people around. There's really no reason to be particularly afraid of someone who's openly carrying. In fact, you should probably be more afraid of someone who's concealed carrying, quite frankly.
Exactly. And that's why also, the point is a law-abiding person, a good person, is not going to try to advertise his intentions. He's trying to sneak on you and try to do it in a way that is going to be concealed. That's why we had for many years, even before we had our concealed carry or even our constitutional carry, we used to have it. The state of Arizona was very famous for the open carry, that every law-abiding citizen can wear a gun just because it's displayed, in a way that everybody can notice it. Because that's, under common law, used to be pretty much, even in different times, that law-abiding person, good people, would show that they have a gun, and everybody would know it. Now, this is another thing I would like to say. We talked to you about it because now you're behind all this, right? I mean, you had to fight for your life. You had to defend yourself because you were facing some serious felony charges, correct?
Yeah, two counts of felony class 6 allegedly dangerous nature offenses.
Wow.
So those carry mandatory prison time, actually. So.
Wow.
You know, when Mark Victor, my attorney, and I were talking about it, you know, he understood, of course, that there was no way I was going to plead guilty to anything.
Mm-hmm.
The prosecutor originally proposed that I plead guilty to 2 misdemeanors, and you know, was told that no, he's not going to take that. So then he said, well, you know, they want you to, you know, agree in this pre-indictment resolution offer to a couple of things, and most of them are not a big deal. You know, take some gun classes. Well, I take them all the time anyway, so no skin off my nose. You know, but then they said, well, we don't want you to openly carry a firearm in the airport for 2 years.
2 years. Why?
Yeah.
What is the magic number?
Yeah. And so at first I was, you know, my first inclination when I first heard about it and the length of that, when they first talked about the deal, I thought it was going to be a couple months. And so I thought, well, okay, you know.
Okay.
But then when they told me 2 years, I was kind of like, oh, I'm going to fight this because, you know, okay, let's say there's always some chance, right? No matter how good your case is, there's some chance they're going to find you guilty just due to, you know, things going wrong in the trial, whatever. So I thought, well, okay, say they find me guilty of this. You know, the judge will see that, you know, I'm a law-abiding citizen, an upstanding member of the community. You know, they'll give me, you know, a fine, maybe some probation or something. You know, so at first my inclination was to kind of fight it, but then Mark Victor pointed out that no, this is, because it involves an AR-15, there's a special thing in the sentencing guidelines that this is a dangerous nature offense with mandatory prison time. So I was looking at fighting a court battle and taking, you know, say a 5% chance or something on losing and doing 4 years in prison.
Wow. And on top,
this thing.
And on top, you know, how much costs, you know, to defend yourself at criminal level, it's a very huge expenses, you know.
Oh, yeah.
That's another thing we have to consider. You know, my little, you know, I'm not a lawyer. Even I was trained in Italy. Before I left Italy, I almost completed my lawyer studies. But just
really?
a regular, yeah, you know, I was some sort of a wannabe lawyer. Then I decided I wanted to become an American. I said, what am I doing here? Let me get out of here. There was anyway. But regardless, it's just common sense, you know. For me, the point is when these individuals, they always try to get you on the defense because you are there exercising your right, and the moment that they put the handcuffs on you, you pretty much start from a point of disadvantage. They are on top, and you know, best case scenario, if you win, you're gonna get even. Okay, you get out of jail. I don't like that. Now, we had a situation, for example, many other friends here in Moave County we've been fighting, and let me tell you, for example, what I like, and this is just my personal opinion, if I can share, you know, between people that we believe in using our rights, exercising our rights. I like to put them on the spot. They stop me doing something. Like, for example, let's say the police force right there would say, you know what, no, you can't do that. And I would ask, which law am I breaking? I am the law. Okay, put it on record, put it on video, and guess what? Next week, you're going to be sued, you and your wife and all the police department. That's what I like to do after these bastards, because people like that, the only thing I understand is easy for them when they're on the attack, and you know that you're going to put in the corner like they were trying to put you, and there are no consequences after all, because they're said in the terms of the deal. But once you know, you stop them, and you don't get into the trap, because the trap is always to try to put the handcuffs on you, so they get something to throw. But you say, okay, I will comply, officer, but I will put this on record. At that point, for me, there is a clear violation of our state laws and our United States civil rights laws, okay? They are denying your rights, the exercise of your rights. That's a felony too, can be, okay? So anyway, but you did great. Let me get you. I'm so glad. I'm so glad that, you know, you did a smart thing, also consulting with your attorney, and you were ready to pretty much get out. Now, so technically now for 2 years, you can go to the airport with an AR-15, correct?
I cannot openly carry any firearm at the 4 airports in Maricopa County. But I can carry a concealed firearm if I wish.
I was thinking, damn it, you know, it was just the AR-15. I would say, let's get an AK-47.
Yeah, no, it's any firearm, actually.
Okay, so
there was definition here in Arizona.
They were specifically, they didn't just say the specific weapon was any.
You could use a black powder weapon, right? So So the definition of firearm in Arizona is that it expels a projectile by use of a cartridge.
Mm-hmm.
So black powder weapons are not considered firearms under that definition.
Yeah, but don't forget the geniuses that you got down there. Some of these people, some they are trained and they know what's going on, but some they don't even know the difference between a rifle and a pistol. Okay, so,
yeah, right.
So they're gonna.
Well, certainly Mark Victor would advise me do not do
that. Send somebody else first. Seriously, if I were closer, I live in Mojave County, and I like to talk to you. It's like a friendly conversation. I really enjoy because when I find people like yourself. I realize that we are not alone. There are a lot of people that they are doing their part of their duty in their part of the world, of America, of the state of Arizona. And this is exactly what are we going to fight, this struggle to regain our rights and laws.
People need to stand up.
Yes.
And this is what I was trying to do in a sense. I was just sick and tired of this attitude that people and the police seem to have that, they can bully you into giving up your rights. And this is just not correct. And the way to stop it is for everyone to begin to stand up and to know how to stand up. And fundamental things like, proper interactions with the police. A lot of people don't really understand that, and frankly, I didn't really understand that until recently when I sort of had to learn it as I became involved in defending the Second Amendment and also the Fourth Amendment with my protests against the TSA.
Yes.
And to know that, when can an officer detain you, right? When can they arrest you? Do you have to cooperate with them if they just come up and start asking you questions? I mean, these are all things that we need to become more educated about so that we push back against this, essentially becoming a police state. Right?
My opinion, it really is. And I tell you why. I'm not trying to exaggerate, but we need to look at facts and evidence, okay? First of all, right now, I'm sure you're familiar with the Magna Carta. Even I was born in Italy, but, it's part of pretty much the basic human rights in the Western world, okay? Right now, we are before pre-Magna Carta. We are back in the darkness, the ages of darkness. Right now, with the National Defense Authorization Act, and of course also the Patriot Act, but more specifically the National Defense Authorization Act, we have now the state, also the king, pretty much doesn't make any difference, that pretty much can detain and arrest and detain indefinitely any one of us, American citizen, with or without accent, okay? Because I'm a naturalized American, but doesn't matter. You can go out too. In the dungeon, okay? And indefinitely for no charges, no due process, no jury, no trial, just because suspected that you are a terrorist. And we know very well now the definition of terrorist, especially domestic terrorist, is so wide. Just because you believe in the Second Amendment, it puts you on top of the list.
I'm sure I've been placed by the TSA on their selective security screening list, the SSSS list.
No judge, no trial, no due process. Now, just because some bureaucrat is having a bad day with his wife or with his boyfriend or whatever, they put you up there. And that's the power, unchecked power of the state. And that's why I really believe we are ready in a police state. Now, how do we fight it back? First of all, I believe that what you're doing is the example. That's why I want you on the show. For sure, we want to learn from things, maybe do it better, and do a little more, covering our six and our back, because we want to know that this is not a game. What you did wasn't a game. You were putting at risk your family, your finances, your career, and also your life, because you go in a jail with the real criminals. Maybe it's not going to end up that easy, okay? Especially, so you did really an act of courage, in my opinion. A little bit crazy, but you were a very courageous man, and I applaud you for that. Now, another thing I want to say to our friends, you may not believe in the Second Amendment, that's fine. Nobody's forcing you, okay? The point is this one. We have rights. We have rights, like if you support the First Amendment, you shouldn't pick and choose with the part of the Bill of Rights you like. Or you endorse them all, or you shut up, seriously. I mean, it would make no sense to say, I support the First Amendment, but no, your Second Amendment, it doesn't work. That's not the way it is. The point here, we are talking about the Second Amendment because without this amendment, without this right, we wouldn't have anything else. And I'm telling you why. We are so close already. Look, when we have laws in writing already being passed and signed, look what this man has to do to exercise his basic right according to our Arizona state constitution and also Arizona laws. Almost had to go to jail, okay? So that's why we have to do what we're doing. This is my opinion. Now, just to share with you something what we did here, what happened to me specifically in Mojave County. A few years ago, I'm in Mojave County, exactly unincorporated area, but, my center of gravity normally where I go around is Kingman. And
Yes.
5 years ago, I used to walk on the Route 66 in town with it was a gift, it was a Valentine gift. I had a beautiful Caltech, this AR-15 pistol that looked like...
Okay, yes.
Yeah, the PSL something Caltech, nice gift. And I was, I left my car at the tire shop, and I was like, okay, let me bring my gun with me. And that was my second gun, because normally I have my gun, my holster, I have my Glock. So I was walking with this new PSL big gun, looks like an AR-15, but without stock. It was on the sling. And I was walking on Route 66, just waiting for my turn to go back to pick up my car.
Yeah.
A police car, somebody must have called, very disturbed that he's seeing somebody. By the way, I was walking not by myself, I was walking with my ex-wife, okay? So I wasn't like in some sort of a strange, lone wolf situation. I was very much just walking, enjoying the view of Route 66. And anyway, somebody called the police, very disturbed that some human being is walking with a gun on a sling in the state of Arizona, city of Kingman, and the police come there and boom. Like Starsky Hatch, remember this 70s movie, this TV series, Starsky Hatch, I don't know if I say it right. Anyway,
yes, Starsky Hatch. Yeah. Uh-huh.
Open the car, like U-turn, scream, drop your gun. Like,
wow.
I even didn't know who was talking at me. So maybe some voice behind somebody me. Anyway, and they pointed the gun at me. Okay, now, and it was an interesting 30 minutes interaction. More people came, more police came, and they tried to find something that I was doing wrong. Not technically, I didn't do anything wrong. They were the one pointing the gun at me. Guess what? The day after, they didn't apologize, of course. They asked me, okay, now that we realize that everything's okay, because they had to ask to the headquarters which law I was breaking. Of course, I wasn't breaking any law. And then they were trying to say, this is the city of Kingman. Don't you know where you are? I say, yeah, this is Arizona. And I never heard that you can rewrite the laws, but that's okay. Tell me what you want me to do. Anyway, after all these 30 minutes of checks on my guns and all the stuff, and in my opinion, they were also brandishing a loaded gun on me for no reasons. But anyway, unfortunately, I didn't have any video camera at the time. Otherwise, it would be a nice, interesting story.
Yes.
Since I realized that the city of Kingman did not like having open carry, guess what happened the day after? At the Kingman Public Park, about 35 people, ages between 16, 14 till probably about 75 and everything in between, we organized what we call now the Thomas Jefferson Walk.
Ah, okay.
Okay, Thomas Jefferson, wrote a letter to his,
right.
I think his nephew was, say, you know what, don't play with the ball because it's a very violent sport, but walk with your gun. It's good for your mind and good for your body. So that's what we did. Everybody carrying some sort of a handgun, mostly were rifles anyway, all following the laws and the protocol and also the etiquette, slunk, or holster. And guess what? We just wanted to give not a warning. It was some sort of politeness. We had let the Kingman police chief know that in that day, the day after what happened to me, or 2 days later, we were going to exercise our rights with the Thomas Jefferson Walk. And the funny thing that through Freedom Information Act, I was able to get some emails that I still have, that the chief was freaking out, say, oh my God, how do we stop him? How do we stop him? And thankfully,
interesting.
Yeah, this is how the mindset worked for some law enforcement. And the city attorney, he was smart enough, at least to know the basic laws, that in the state of Arizona, we have preemptive state laws when it comes down to the Second Amendment. That means the city council cannot rewrite, or the county cannot rewrite laws concerning the Second Amendment. So the same things happen to you in Phoenix. They cannot start Phoenix rewrite their laws, okay?
So actually, it turns out, of course, that actually the airport, a lot of people said, well, we need a new law to ban firearm carriage in the airport. But it turns out that actually the airport can ban firearm carriage. They just have to put up signs in lockers.
Yeah, because it's a private place. We come back to the idea of private property. And if that's the situation, and that's that point, they need to put it out.
No, the airport is public property, actually.
It's public? Okay, but still,
yes.
as a public, technically, I'm not a lawyer, but just asking, you know very well there is a state law that in any type of public building owned by the state of Arizona, for example, counties, cities, municipalities, if they want to put a sign, no guns allowed, they must provide you a safe checkbox.
Right.
That's for the city and counties normally. I don't know if a building like the airport would be considered in that category. I have no idea. Maybe something.
I think it is because it's owned by the city.
And then at that point, they need to provide you a nice, beautiful safe box for your
If
AR-15.
they want to do that, but they've chosen not to do that.
Exactly.
Right.
So just for our listeners, out of the blue, they start to listen to all this gun talk. You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with Luca Zanna, and more important, with an incredible man that I respect a lot, is Dr. Peter-Steinmetz. Do I pronounce it right, the last name?
Yes, that's correct. Yep, it's a German name.
Terrible with names normally, but I'm really glad. Now, talking about guns a little bit, and let me finish how I ended up. Anyway, when we went down in Kingman, we did this peaceful, beautiful walk with about 40 people of us, and we took a video, of course, and I sent you a couple of copies. We did more than one times. We proved the point that law-abiding citizens with guns and rifles, we don't eat children. We do not rape women. We do not walk intoxicated. We are the most polite and respectful people. I think that park, the moment, was the safest park in all Arizona.
I dare say.
And everybody had a great time. And we have the right to enjoy that park, okay? I mean, not only people with dogs or other things. We have the right to use it too. And that's what it takes. Because at the point, when they start to intimidate you and you start to realize that this is like almost a muscle game. You must push back when they push. And that's the only way we're going to win it. Showing that we are rights and we use them. So that's all I'm saying. But let's be smart. Let's always have, first of all, let's consult a lawyer. I think it would be very good to be sure exactly what the laws are. Let's not just be approximate. And more important, let's have witnesses. And now I like very much this new technology. Everybody has a cell phone with a video camera and record everything non-stop. That's my motto. Record, never stop recording.
Yeah, and see, it's relatively easier to do. And we did this the other day, actually, on the 22nd of December. Mm-hmm. A friend of mine and I went to the airport to protest the TSA.
Wow.
Which, of course, as you may know, really doesn't do anything to improve our safety. Actually, probably hurts our safety by virtue of both wasting money and causing people to drive more than they should be. So it actually probably hurts our safety, and yet they're violating all of our Fourth Amendment rights to be free from unreasonable searches and seizures. So we went down with a set of signs to the airport to protest this, and lo and behold, we were recording all the time, and it's amazing how the TSA employees do not like to tell us who they are on video.
Of course, this is normally everybody has something to hide. They don't want to be exposed, because when you put, if they're so secure that they're doing everything right, correctly, they will have no problem, if you're doing everything right, you have nothing to hide. Like they say, hey, you have nothing to hide. Guess what? Show me that you have nothing to hide. Most of the interactions with these people, if they were regular people without a government badge, they would be probably at least should be charged for sex felonies, okay?
Because what they do, yes, most certainly. And in fact, in Texas, right, they tried to pass a law to that effect.
Yeah, I mean, somebody that puts the hands on contact, not even through on top of your clothes, but I'm talking about skin on skin. Yeah. Touching your private. For me, that's why I don't travel anymore. I'm seriously, last time I went to Italy was 8 years ago, okay? Wow. And I was pulling New York, and I spent 2 hours in the New York airport just because I did not want to answer to my masters, okay? Right. And at the time, I was just became a naturalized American. And I realized very well that when I was an immigrant, I had to face, the reality that I was a guest. So I was comply. Every time they say jump, I would jump. But with the moment that I became an American, for me, it was a very important moment. It wasn't just a piece of paper, say, okay, now wave your flag. No, I wanted to exercise my right. So on the way back from Italy, I was just for a short trip. It was a business trip, 3 days trip. I came back, and the first question I have to face through the TSA, and honestly was the Homeland Security. Why did you go to Italy? And I said, politely, personal business. It wasn't enough for my holy master. My master wanted to know exactly what I was doing. And I said, again, personal business. And at that point, they thought that they could be put in the room with Osama bin Laden and they thought, okay, now we're going to cook you. And I was really, at that point, I could have said, okay, sir, whatever you want me to say, I will say. No, I made a point, and I stuck to my answer. I said, did I do something wrong? I am here. Check it out. My passport is clear. I have no records. I have any type of warrant. I'm a law-abiding person. Now, what do you want from me? you must tell us why did you go to Italy. No, I don't need to tell you anything. If you want to play that game, guess what? I think I also have a Fifth Amendment, okay? So I'm not going to talk to you. Anyway, they didn't like that either, so they opened my bag. And it's funny because just a few days before I was reading, that was 8 years ago, I was just waking up to all this police state propaganda. And they have this flyer that I just read. There was an FBI flyer that the definition of a potential domestic terrorist was gun owners, people who believe in the Constitution or talk too much about the Constitution, and then Christian. Okay, I'm not a preacher, but I was that my little trip to Italy. I was trying to read the scriptures. I'm not very much familiar, so I wanted to bring with me a book. I brought the Bible in English. I thought also was a good way to practice my English. Let me read my Bible in English. Then also,
so you met the definition of a domestic terrorist to a T.
But let me finish. That's easy. I had 3 books in my little backpack. One was the Holy Bible. Right there, his face of this TSA was becoming white and yellow. It started to change. Second book was Gun Bible by Boston Tea Party. Did you ever read that book?
No, I probably should.
You should get it. It's like 600 or 700 pages tome, beautiful from A to Z, everything about gun owners, gun ownership, from guns, marksmanship, caliber. I mean, it's a Bible. It's a gun's Bible. What you want to say? Beautiful. And when the second book was pulled out of my magic Mary Poppins bag, really they started to call reinforcement. I thought they were kidding. They said, oh my God, it's one of them. He got the Bible, he got the guns Bible. And then the final thing was this little teeny book, U.S. Constitution. And
very frightening.
And I started to laugh because I said, oh my God, that's what is going in their brain. I can't believe it. And they said, why are you laughing? Don't worry about it. Everything's fine. I'm just having a great time here with you guys. I really appreciate your time. You're making my day. After that, I thought I was crazy. It's okay. Just go.
Yeah.
And of course, I lost my airplane, my connection to Vegas. But that's the point, guys. That's where we are, The Fourth Amendment is not just something that our founding fathers wrote in that Bill of Rights for fun. It's there. Or we have it, or we don't have it.
Right, and they're grossly violating it constantly under this legal doctrine of administrative search, which was like to justify the housing inspector being able to go into somebody's house without a warrant to look for a rat infestation.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Okay, so I mean, it's just just the most ridiculous reasons. First of all, to not require a warrant,
and also, let's talk about really. Were they kidding? I mean, they think we are stupid, I understand. But not maybe everybody's so stupid. They leave our southern border and also our northern border completely wide open, okay?
Right.
And of course, they also have now the latest propaganda was getting people from Guatemala. We pay also for their transportation, and they jump on these airplanes, by the way, all the Guatemalan kids, by the way, there are no kids there, and they're all without passport, and they were having a special waiver from Homeland Security to board U.S. airplanes, commercial airlines, okay?
Yeah,
so
I love it.
You have two different type of, we the slaves, and then we had the completely privileged class, okay? And we are treated like a bunch of slaves. But, the borders, they're wide open. Drug completely traffickants, they can do whatever they want, like there is a highway there. And I spent some time on those borders to witness with my own eyes. But grandma and grandpa and the regular average Joe, we must put ourselves on our knees and pretty much, let us do whatever they want. I have no children, but if I had a child, and I don't care if male or female, and somebody is trying to touch my child, I would be arrested. And that's why I also have respect for myself. And I'm sad because I would like to go back to see my family once in a while to Italy, but it is getting really rough. And I cannot afford a private jet yet, so I don't know what to do.
That's one way to avoid it, I guess, although they do want I believe they want the identification of everybody who's on private planes now also.
Yeah, probably you're going to get better treatment. Maybe they're going to get you a nice girl, lady to do that job for you, not some nasty, 300 pounds PSA that he didn't have sex for some years.
And so this is a thing that I want to start focusing on actually in the next year is the notion of, it turns out that we can replace the TSA employees who do the screening with private screening companies. It's called the Trusted Partner Program. And one of my goals is maybe to try to get the airports in Arizona to do this and to really lessen the impact of the TSA on Arizona citizens.
Yeah, on top, the point is there is so much also waste of tax dollar. I mean, this is proven that if people want to carry something, forget about they check on our shampoo. But the people have been proving, that their own system is being proven that it's failing.
Well, they only catch 15% of attempts to smuggle contraband through their checkpoints.
Yeah. And meanwhile, we all treat them like slaves.
Is that going to deter a terrorist?
No. And by the way, this is exactly the point. There is also a lot of corporatism behind, because also these X-ray machines, or whatever they call it, that, by the way, I'm not a doctor, but I never would like to go through those for my own safety. I don't even like to go close to a microwave, and probably you can say more about it. I wouldn't like to go through that, especially if I was pregnant or even not pregnant, because I don't think that type of radiation done in a regular way, it's good for you. But the point is, who was behind that? That was another kickback from another administration ago. The former Homeland Security, Fuhrer there, it was under Bush, I forgot his name. Anyway, the guy was, after retired from Homeland Security, he had a contract pretty much ready to go. And we had to pay billions of dollars for this expensive and pretty much dangerous machinery. I don't even think really helps anything anyway, because our borders, they're completely open, But
the TSA is, as I said, it's actually dangerous for American people. It actually decreases their safety. Not only is it a waste of money and ineffectual, it actually kills people, what we're doing. And this is the reason that we really need to be rid of them. And, so this, going back to, my demonstration, look at that. I mean, this, I was discussing this with my wife this morning, and it's something I've read on the web. And look, the strongest form of political protest, right, short of outright rebellion, is to openly carry our weapons.
I agree completely. That's why, in this state, we have such a treasure that it's like a living fire, and it's up to every one of us to keep this fire going and make it bigger. The moment that we completely don't breathe on this anymore. Fire needs oxygen. You need to start to, otherwise you're going to let it die. And that's why it's so important. Think how powerful it would be, how much powerful it would have been. You've done a great job that time when you were down there at the airport carrying your AR-15 to make a political statement. But think about it, that day you were 50 of you.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Oh my God. The world would have said, wow, this is Arizona. There are still some semi-free men. We are not completely free, but at least on this one, we got it down right.
That's right. Yes, exactly.
So that's the point. That's why, let's unite. Let's join the force. This is fun. Also, I believe that when people say, you're an activist or whatever. No, I really enjoy life. I want to enjoy my rights. And for me, it's better than watching TV. Get a bunch of friends, get together, get your rifles, go shoot together. And more important, start to exercise your right, know the laws, be a respectful, law-abiding citizen, but stand for your rights and don't coward. That's the bottom line.
We're doing part of this, I don't know, here in Phoenix we have this open carry group that's getting together now for lunches about every month.
Yes, it's great.
And so, what we do is we get together as a group, we open carry our firearms legally, safely, and go out to lunch together and enjoy the camaraderie of our friends who are like-minded, as well as showing people, right, the general public, that open carriers are, by and large, here a bunch of safe, legal, law, polite people, right, that aren't causing problems.
Exactly. And, this is the spirit, and that's the way we're going to do it. And also, I know that also you are a member, we are on the same board, I think you're a life member too, of Arizona Citizen Defense League, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Perfect. And join an organization that you believe that they're doing the right things. I'm not even getting endorsed or paid by the Arizona Citizen Defense League, but I really say this because I believe it. At legislative level, they've been doing great things. And that's why we got to work in the system, through the system, to defend our rights. And that's the way that, we do it on the streets, like Dr. Steninmetz has been doing, but also we want to do it at political level using the tools that we have. And I think the Arizona Citizens Defense League, it's a great way to support good people trying to do their job and try to lobby and good legislations. Now, talking about guns a little bit, I understand you like the AR-15, but any other rifle that you like to shoot together with your family or with your son?
Well, yeah. So, I'm sort of an interesting case. I point out to people, I guess, from a gun rights perspective, because I'm really more interested in gun rights as a civil rights issue than I am just in guns per se. And in fact, I actually had very little interest, although I've been a libertarian most of my life. But I actually had very little interest in guns and gun rights actually until after the Newtown murders.
Wow.
And I began looking into this when they threatened to bring back the assault weapons ban, and I started, reading more about it and reading the data, and I realized this is really bad. I mean, that they're trying to restrict the Second Amendment in this way. So I became convinced that it was important for me to start actually taking a more active role in learning about guns. So the first thing I did was, because they were threatening to ban AR-15s, I went out and bought them, bought some. And then my son, who's 13, and I became interested in learning how to shoot them.
Yes.
So he's been kind of following along. He's actually a better shot than I am now with his .22. So last year I bought him a nice bolt-action .22 with CZ.
Great. And did you ever done with your son the Appleseed classes, clinics?
Oh, no, I tried to get him to go to that last year. I guess it's a fascinating group.
It's beautiful. You're going to love it. And I think that's another solution how to regain and to defend our rights. People already talk with my listeners. The Appleseed class, it's a great way to learn marksmanship. It's a 2-day clinic. And also, it's a great system. They have, all you need is a .22 rifle, 25 yards. You can learn all the different type of basic military shooting, from standing, prone, and sitting. And on top, they have a lot of interesting information about history, really the first few days of the revolution, to remind everybody else what type of, sacrifice they were made before us. Now, I would like to give you a gift. I like you very much, seriously.
Thank you so much.
And I'm not trying to say that because, seriously, I believe people like you makes the difference, and that's why we're here. I'm trying to do my little part with my accent, with my grammar problems. I try. That's my only goal to be on this radio, is try to warn Americans. We are 2 minutes before 1934 Nazi Germany, and I think I already hit there. Now, the next stage is going to be they're going to unleash the dogs. We got to get people trained and exercising their rights and also know how to shoot. Regardless, did you ever heard about Front Sight, Nevada?
Oh, yes.
Are you a member?
No, I'm not a member there.
Guess what? I'm gonna make your day.
Oh.
I give you a free legacy member at Front Sight, Nevada, lifetime. Let me tell you exactly what you get.
Thank you so much.
Okay, I'll tell you what you get. And listeners, don't get too excited. You're not going to get anything, okay? This is something for Dr. Steinmetz, okay? This is something that you're going to enjoy. Front Sight, I'm a life member. I discovered Front Sight 4 years ago or so, and I think now 5 almost. And for me, it was one of the most important steps as a gun owner, not just from the philosophical point of view, but also as a trained gun owner, okay? And it's in Pahrump, Nevada. It's one of the best school, or at least the firearm institute in the world, in my opinion. Over 50,000 people train at Front Sight, Nevada. And the level of training, it's above the law enforcement. Let's put it this way. We do competition with law enforcement. We beat the crap out of them every time, okay?
Wow.
And there is also grandma, grandpa. Anyway, I give you a legacy membership that for the rest of your natural life, okay, you can do pretty much. I'll tell you which classes you can attend. 1 second only. 2-day empty hand defense, 2-day edge weapons, 2-day defense handgun, 2-day tactical shotgun, 2-day practical rifle, 4-day defensive handgun, 4-day tactical shotgun, 4-day practical rifle, 2-day handgun skill builder, 2-day advanced tactical handgun, 4-day handgun combat master prep. For the rest of your life, you can attend any of this class as many times you can afford the gas and the ammunition.
Well, thank you so much. That's a very generous gift. I really appreciate it.
So what I'll do when we finish the show, don't hang up. I'm going to ask you a couple information so I can send you how to get this membership, okay? And just to let you know, because I really do this with my heart, because if people wants to buy this membership on the website, and you can check it out, Dr. Professor, on frontsight.com, this membership normally is $10,000 membership, one single payment of $10,000.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, of course I didn't pay that because I'm not that rich, but thanks to the show, Love, Guns, and Freedom, we are here, and I'm trying to do everything I can to spread the Second Amendment and marksmanship. Now, I give you the floor. The last 2 minutes, it's all to you. Dr. Steinmetz.
Well, I guess I'd like to say that I hope other people will take the opportunity to join us in working to preserve our rights and our Second Amendment rights, which are very important, and that we'll see more activism of this sort in the future.
Perfect. You've been listening to Luca Zanna and Dr. Steninmetz. This is the Love, Guns, and Freedom radio show. We are on the second hour. Don't go away, because the third hour we'll talk about love and also how to make wine. Believe it or not, we go now from guns to alcohol. This is the real ATF. Don't go away. Stay tuned.
He's a songwriter, a poet, a rifleman,
I'm not afraid.
and a constitutional activist.
I'm not afraid.
Italian by birth,
I'm not afraid.
American by choice. Gianluca-Zanna
I'm not afraid.
and his new CD, Love, Guns, and Freedom. 16 powerful songs on one CD from the heart of a patriot. For download or to order the CD, go to www.lovegunsfreedom.com. That's www.lovegunsfreedom.com. Lyrics for your mind, music for your heart. Gianluca Zanna's new CD, Love, Guns, and Freedom.
Have you ever met someone on an online dating site and thought, wow, this guy is perfect for me, or she is simply amazing, only to find out they were hiding a deep, dark secret? They plan to vote for Hillary. FreedomLovers.us was created for singles who want to exchange ideas and a love for freedom. People who are looking for solutions to create and defend freedom in the real world, and at the same time getting that once-in-a-lifetime chance to find their true soulmate. Whether you are interested in meeting your soulmate, making new friends, networking, or hanging out with that like-minded liberty lover, visit FreedomLovers.us. It's the first free dating site and community. So patriots, don't waste your time with other dating sites. FreedomLovers.us is the place where like-minded singles really click.
You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with Gianluca Zanna on Guerrilla Media Network. Here we are, final hour. You've been listening, and you are listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with Luca Zanna. This is the hour that normally I try to relax, enjoy life. As I said, the best revenge against our enemies, it's to live well. So we will talk a little bit about love and also wine, but also there are some news that I cannot just wait to share with you. Something that I believe it's important. I want also some opinion from a friend, Ken from Michigan. Ken, are you there?
Yes, I'm here, Luca.
Hi, Ken. First of all, this is the hour about love, and I wanted to say something. I really believe what we're trying to do here, every one of us was trying to do something. I don't care if it's on on big radio show, national level or local radio, or even just your neighbor, like I know you do. You try to be active every way you can around your family, your community, try to wake up our fellow men. I really believe this is an act of love, because this is not also a game. This is not a hobby. This is not something that you play like, okay, let's just do this for fun. This is something that is becoming very risky, in my opinion. It always been risky. I mean, people in the 80s, even before that, they've been died. They've been killed. And they've been killed because they were trying just to warn us of what's coming. You know very well probably about William Cooper. Yes. This book and all the information was trying to tell us about global government, New World Order, and so many other people before him and after him. So we're here trying to do our part. And I know you've been doing a lot, and I want to thank you for that, because, this is the only way we're going to take it back. If every one of us, for a moment, put aside our personal fears, understanding that this is not a game, but still doing what we have to do. Bill, I wanted to ask you something, first of all. Any news from your part of the world, Michigan? I mean, something that you want to share, some information, some news, some updates? Go ahead, Ken.
Sure, look, I'd like the American Free Press on January the 5th and the 12th. They wrote 2 papers in one, and they wrote something that's very hard. It says mind control and mass shooting.
Wow.
And they talked about Myron May, the shooter in Florida State University. They said he shot 3 people, and he took it. Then they had to kill him because he wouldn't put his gun down. Aaron Alexis, they brought him up in this article, and James Holmes out of Colorado shooter.
Wow.
And they're getting, if everybody can get to that American Free Press, January the 5th and 12th, they should read this article. I can't read the whole thing. I'm just going to read you part of it, because they're saying that a lot of these shootings are done under this mind control.
Go ahead,
which I was surprised to see that even the American Free Press writing about it. It said by installing horror and fear through public torturing and killing hopeless victims, the abuser is able to traumatize the minds of spectators, leaving them vulnerable to reprogramming and the insertion of propaganda messages. By getting away with this, such actions are in the name of law enforcement. The abusers take on a godlike dimension that compels certitude among the witnesses. So they're saying that, and which I've been saying a long time, that a lot of these shootings are being done under this mind control program. And I could even take them back to more of them that I believe, but being that they mentioned these 3 in their article, it was written by Bill White, and the name of the title is Mind Control and Mass Shooting. Mind Manipulation Alleged in Florida Shooting. So then today, Pete, Luke, I'm sorry. I was on Pete's show today. You know, Pete's on telly, so.
No problem. Listen.
I called you, Pete.
No worry. No, it's fine. It's fine.
And one of his callers called in because I was on the line for a good hour and a half. And he said, Pete, you should go to truth11.com. That's truth11.com. And it's a small article. It says the plain and simple truth is that cell towers, cell phones, Wi-Fi, and smart meters are not only devices of health destruction, they are tools of mass mind control.
Wow.
The technology is part of a global depopulation plan. The convenience is not worth it. We need to reconnect to shielded wires and deal with the fact that we have to make it to the next payphone.
Yes. Let me tell you something. You know, I've been following, and I want to thank you, by the way. You sent me the package with the article. I'm going to open it right now. I just pretty much got a few hours ago. And what you're talking, this is part also for me of this love. Because if we don't understand what's going on to humanity right now, this is an act of love to try to warn everyone out there that what's happening is so deep, is so evil, is so almost sometimes unbelievable that if we don't do something, we're all going to be pretty much facing a very sad future, if we ever going to have a future. Because unfortunately, I realize that this mind control now is started to be used on mass scale. And it's not just about some specific individuals. There is the technology out there. And I've been reading articles, and also there was a video from the Pentagon. They're pretty much saying that they have now vaccines, or at least biological and chemical agents that they can pretty much spray aerosol from the sky. This is a video that was directly from the Pentagon. And I would like to post the article, of course, also on the Love, Guns, and Freedom, lovegunsfreedom.com. And pretty much these scientists, I call them scumbag, evil devil, bastard, was telling us that now, want it or not, they can pretty much influence our mind, and they can spread these vaccines to restrain and to try to keep us calm, and also to remove extremist religious beliefs. That means pretty much, everybody can believe in something. Now they tell us how much we can believe. So this is nothing anymore in some conspiracy books. This is something now on the open. And there is a technology that we have no idea. I'm just learning the tip of the iceberg. It's happening right now. And now I want to run something by you that I don't know, of course, what's really happened, but something stinks. There was this independent filmmaker. There was also a veteran who came back from overseas. I think he was in Afghanistan or Iraq a few years. I was very disappointed. he understood what's going on with this police state, and he was producing, the last few years, he's been producing a sort of, I call it movie, I call it like, it's like the most powerful minutes I've seen in condensed trailer. I mean, this is all we had is the trailer of this movie that was supposed to come out, and the name is Gray State. It's about martial law. It's about New World Order. It's about, forced vaccination and forced compliance with this new microchipping. And, of course, the destruction of our rights, and at the same time, the mass murdering of people who do not believe about this global system. So, a very powerful message. And last year, it seems like the last statement that we knew, David Crowley, he was pretty much having a contact with the big budget distribution company. And just last week, his body was found dead at his house in Apple Valley, Minnesota, with his wife and his little child, 5-year-old child. And supposedly, now according to the news, medical examiner rules that Apple Valley death, Mr. Crowley death, was a murder-suicide. I don't know. As I said, I don't want to say one thing or not, but something always happens when people are so close to try to share a message, like happened in the past to people like Bill Cooper and other people like him. They've been killed. And, of course, was a murder, suicide, or was a suicide, in many cases 2 bullets in the back of your head. Did you ever heard about this documentary, The Gray State, by David Crowley, Ken?
Yeah, yes, Luke, I did. And then the way they demonized him, they said, the neighbors even said, now he's been running around in camo lately. It's camouflage clothing like the military. So in other words, because he was doing that means that he just went nuts and killed his wife, his daughter, and himself. I don't believe it for a minute. I believe it was a murder, and there are a lot of people getting murdered now when they're getting ready to come out with something that the government don't want them to.
Yeah,
we are in North Korea right now. Everybody talks about how bad North Korea is.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not for sure that North Korea is not better off than we are.
Yeah.
At least in North Korea, you know that you're under a tyranny.
Yes.
Most people in America don't realize it yet.
You're right. This is exactly the worst thing. When you believe that you're free, instead you're enslaved. And all you have to try to see, really, if you're free, try to exercise your rights. When you try to exercise your rights, you will see that you have no more rights, and it's going to be the reality check. That's why I also believe that many people, unfortunately, do not want to get involved because they want to believe in the illusion that this is still the land of the free, of the brave. But the moment that they start to open their door and start to, exercise their basic fundamental human rights, individual rights, like freedom of speech, for example, they will be surprised how things are different from their illusion. So this is something that I was going to try to say at the beginning. What we're doing here, me with this little radio show, even of course started local with KTOX, and then also we have it on Pizza and Tilly, and I see that's getting rebroadcast on other internet website. It's still something that I do not do this because I'm trying to become the new radio guy. Or for me, this is an act of love. Today is Sunday. I have a lot of things to do in my life, economy stuff, trying to get together, try to prepare what's going on. But I want to use these hours, this time, this energy, like you're doing, to try to warn humanity. And I'm not just saying only Americans, because this message now it's for everybody. We are all under global tyranny. That in the next few months, next few years maybe, I don't know, but I think for sure the next few years, we will live in a new era. And this new age is going to be not an age of gold. It's not going to be an age of education, of love, of prosperity. It's going to be an age of darkness and tyranny. And it's already happening. Look what's happening right now in Europe. Look what's happening in the streets. Look what's happening with the violence, these all wars, illegal wars. And more important now, with the complete destruction of our rights. And this is not a game, Ken. You know that. I mean, you're a target individual. You know that life can be hell. And I tell you something, Ken, between me and you. By the way, I want to thank you to have put me in contact with our guest, the nsa-whistle-blower, during the first hour, William-Binney. You heard, you're going to listen to the show. It wasn't the first hour. After I talked to him, my cell phone started to act very weird. And
yeah, because they do not want his message getting out at all.
And I'm not. Go ahead.
And I listened. I had somebody sent it to me as a link on Colonel Roy Potter. And I think you met him at Bundy's. Am I right or wrong?
What did you say?
Did you meet Colonel Roy Potter at Bundy's Ranch?
No, I didn't meet him, but I watched the video that you sent out, by the way. Very interesting information, yes. And
I met him, and now they're doing it. They're doing the same thing to him now. He said they stalking him and all kinds of stuff.
Mm-hmm. No, I understand. And that's what I'm saying. I was trying to say during the first few parts of the hour, this is not a game. I believe this is an act of love. What we're trying to do, we try to put aside our personal safety, because at the end of the day, there is no safety for anybody. If you're lucky, you're going to be living as a slave anyway. And I don't want to live as a slave. I don't want to think that this is going to be the end. Because at the end of the day, what I really believe, that at the end of all games, we're all going to die, no matter what. I mean, I don't care if you believe in whatever you believe. I believe in Christ, but that's my personal belief. But even if you do not believe in anything, you know that one day we're all going to be dead, and that's a fact. Now, after we understand that all we're going to be dying, the only opportunity we have to make a difference is to decide how we can live this given time. Are we going to be living as victims, as cowards, as slaves, or are we going to be saying, you know what, let me use this time in the best way I can to try to stand for good. And don't get me wrong, I'm not perfect. I'm a human being and I have my own imperfection. But at the same time, our goal is to try to improve, try to get better. And at the same time, I believe it's the time to expose and speak up against evil. Because evil is here right now. And it's really very, very serious. What do you think about this?
Yeah. You're not going to have a lot. I don't think there's a lot of time left, so you got to try to warn everybody you can, because I think it's coming down a lot faster than what most people think. But if you don't mind, Luke, I'd like to give out my website on what I talked about.
Please, go ahead.
Find a lot of good information there.
Go ahead.
It's GMN10KEN.com.
Yes, very good. I go there. There are nice blogs and nice articles that you post. And speaking about another solution, because, as I said, we need to find solution and to find the strength to fight, to live another day, and to completely be able to also, mentally live into this. I try to not. I mean, it's very easy in these days to go lose your mind when you got all this craziness going around, and also the economy and Obama and all things they're doing. I mean, I really believe that depression can be something very easy to get. I believe that, first of all, in my opinion, my solution is to have like-minded people that you share the same values, at least some of them, so you do not feel alone. That's number one. Also, at personal level, I think it's time to find who you really are at the spiritual level, okay? I'm not here to preach. People can believe in whatever they want, but try to find your belief system, because if you believe that there is somebody above us, that it is pretty much more than just what you can see and touch today, there is an afterlife, I think you're going to have much more strength. At least for me, it's really important, I believe. Then also, I believe that you got to get some help from things that you put in your body. If you have a healthy life, away from drugs, away from bad food, and, for example, we are what we eat. And one thing I tell you has been helping me out a lot, Ken. I know we talked about this in the past, but I really realize today more than ever, it's that supplement that we've been taking, and I take every day, once a day in the morning. It's called Protandim. That, by the way, I would like to remind listeners that they can try a bottle of Protandim going to your website, Ken.
Yes, you can go to Protandim,
yes.
Protandim, Ken.com. Is that it too?
Yes, protandemcan.com. And all I say, this product is not a medication. It is not something that you need to have a medical prescription, but there is real science behind. There are more than $50 million invested. It's a publicly traded company at NASDAQ, LifeVantage. And more important, there is medical research behind. So what it does, it is not just something about to help your mood, but it's something that it's like considered like an activator at cellular level, that helps your cells to start to regenerate themselves and produce anti-radicals. And I tell you, it is good for your body, but I realized lately how much is good also for my mind. Even when times are really tough, and I take my Protandim pill during the morning, I feel always positive during the day. I feel calmer and less stressed, and I feel like pretty much I can face everything. So I invite everybody here, to try this product. Go to protandemcan.com, and if you have any question, you can also send me an email. I will redirect you to a CAN website. And it's also a way that you can help us out to do what we're doing. I mean, all these, we do as an act of love, but takes hours out of our personal life, and we could use these hours to really take care of our family. So it's some way we try to help you, try to help us out, and try to support this show, try to support people like Ken from Michigan, order Protandem, or download any of my songs at www.lovegunsfreedom.com. You can find my link where you can download any of my songs for 99 cents. Ken, I want to give you the floor for the last 60 seconds. Go ahead, whatever you want to say.
Luca, all I can say is that everybody should get out and start be doing a little bit, because nobody wants to die, but nobody's dying. But if somebody else is trying to kill you, then that's a big difference. I'd like to die on my own time.
You're right. You're right.
Somebody else set it up.
Exactly. And I wrote a little phrase. It's not a poem. It's just some sort of a reflection. I was thinking a few nights ago. It's called Slaves. The moment that we fear our death is the moment that we become slaves. Slaves of our own oppressors, and more important, slaves of ourselves. When we understand that one day we're all going to die, no matter what, the next question should be, how I'm going to live my life, as a slave or as a free human being. The moment that we are not afraid anymore to stand for our rights and dignity, it will be the moment that we will really be free. That's pretty much the idea. You're right. The moment that we think that we are afraid and we're going to coward, let's not forget that we're all going to be dead one day no matter what we're going to leave behind as our legacy. That when we had a chance to do something, we didn't do it because we were afraid we're going to die. It's almost illogical, But don't get me wrong. I enjoy life and I enjoy to be around. And just for the record, I would like to say, this is on record. I do not believe in suicide. I will never commit suicide. So in case something happens to me, try to investigate, because I don't want to hear from some reporter or some local coroner officer that there was a murder, suicide, or a suicide. For my religious belief, I will never commit suicide. I believe always there are other options, and I believe that there are still life out there, and no matter how things can be bad, I believe in life. So this is something I want to say out, because I believe that things are going to get strange. Even, of course, I just have my own little show, and I'm not thinking that the New World Order is going to be there worry about myself, but things going to get changed pretty soon. And I realized, for example, even my songs, going to the website www.zanna.us, just a few weeks ago, I was looking at the statistics, who visits my website. Well, I saw U.S. government, IP addresses, I saw Department of Homeland Security, many other agencies that I don't know why they really like so much my music, because they never really downloaded any of my songs, but I appreciated them visiting, and that's fine. But no, I'm never going to commit suicide. Just for the record, especially after we see things happening around, like with Mr. Crowley, of this incredible documentary movie. I hope it's going to come out, The Gray State. So just for the record, let's put it also for you, Ken. Do you believe in suicide?
Oh, absolutely. Same goes for me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to be a Michael Hastings. I don't want to be any of these people that, because they're speaking out, they come in and they I call it arcicide.
Mm-hmm.
They did that back in the 70s with the Clintons. A lot of them, they got so bad down in Arkansas with the suicide, they call it arcicide.
Yes, I remember that.
No, I have no intentions of doing that.
Good. We have it on record. At that point, we're here, and we'll do whatever we have to do. Ken Listed, thank you very much. Please keep me posted with the news. Thank you very much also for your help, because I wanted to remind the show that Ken is also trying to always help me out to bring the best guest out here. And the incredible guest we had today during the first hour, this NSA whistleblower that I really want, in case you miss it, in case you're driving right now, you missed the first hour of Love, Guns, and Freedom radio show. We had William-Binney, the incredible hero. In my opinion, he's a hero. He's an American hero. Somebody who was not afraid to even risk his family life. I mean, this guy, he risked so much out of his career. 30 years in the NSA, and it was one of the first NSA whistleblowers to pretty much denounce these criminal activities of these bastards. They think they can control every aspect of our life and spy in every aspect of our life, completely against the laws and the Constitution of this republic. So thank you again. That was thanks to Ken, helped me out to put me in contact with Mr. William-Binney. Thank you, Ken. Stay tuned and talk to you next week, okay?
And thank you, Luca.
Thank you.
Have you ever met someone on an online dating site and thought, wow, this guy is perfect for me, or she is simply amazing, only to find out they were hiding a deep, dark secret? They plan to vote for Hillary. FreedomLovers.us was created for singles who want to exchange ideas and a love for freedom. People who are looking for solutions to create and defend freedom in the real world, and at the same time getting that once-in-a-lifetime chance to find their true soulmate. Whether you are interested in meeting your soulmate, making new friends, networking, or hanging out with that like-minded liberty lover, visit FreedomLovers.us. It's the first free dating site and community. So patriots, don't waste your time with other dating sites. FreedomLovers.us is the place where like-minded singles really click.
Here we are. You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with Luca Zanna, final part. This is pretty much the hour. Normally I try to just talk about love and relaxing things, but today was something too important, I believe. First of all, I would like to say a prayer to the family, no matter what happened, no matter if it's a real suicide, murder-suicide, or if it was an assassination. This Mr. David Crowley is a human being, was a human being. His family, his wife, Cornell, and his little girl, Rennie. I mean, we need to pray for them. I really believe that. I believe also there is so much going on that we have no idea. And as I said, love, it's the engine that moves everything. In my opinion, yeah, we need to look into guns. We need to look into survival. We need to look in everything else we can do, knowledge. But without love, there is no motivation. Why should we all do all this? Why should it just be apathetic and let things go the way they are? No, because we love freedom. We love good. We want to stand for good. We want to try to stand for our fellow humans. Regardless, sometimes we have differences, but still, we believe that freedom is supposed to be something that belongs to every human being. So, this hour for me today, I would like to get singles going on, and I will next show. But today was something different. I needed to pretty much share why we are doing this, why we need to do this more, why every one of us should do something to try to expose evil every time we have. And don't get me wrong, you don't need to do this as a schizophrenic, jumping on everything you see. But you know that during your day, during your life, during your regular day, it could be at the public meeting that you hear, when you go to city council or county supervisors or school board meeting or anywhere, even when you see something that is not right. And you have the chance to expose, to talk, because silence is consent. That's what I really believe. So that's what I'm trying to say. Now, as I said, this is the hour I want to relax, so I have with me a beautiful bottle of wine, Tarima Hill, that, I'm not even trying to advertise it. This is a gift, by the way. It's a Christmas gift, and I appreciate it. And, by the way, I would like to thank again my friend Eric Savisky, that he got me some incredible wine with some incredible porto from California. I mean, this show is giving me the opportunity to meet so many beautiful, incredible human beings from America, but also from around the world. I mean, don't forget my friend from Norway, Renzo. I mean, I got so many great guys and girls that we believe in the same beliefs, even sometimes we have, of course, differences, because we are individuals. We are not made like a stamp, all the same. It is beautiful to be different. We need to have differences, but at the same time, we have one common thing. We believe that we are not body slaves. That's the most important thing. We have individual rights that no government can take from us, and government does not give us rights. Okay, we give the right to the government to exist. That's the bottom line. So today I want to enjoy, after we've been talking about unfortunately sad things like death, assassination, the danger of what people are going through right now, especially when they try to, expose this evil, New World Order, evil, martial law, and all these different things that are already here. Guess what? I do not care. I'm not afraid of death. And don't get me wrong, I enjoy life, I enjoy friendship, I enjoy beautiful things that I've been given in this life, and I also fought hard and work hard, okay? But I still believe that I don't deserve everything I have, because God has been good to me. I really do believe that. And this is, as I said, I'm not trying to preach it, but this is my personal belief. I believe that there is a God out there that is above us. And I believe that God, even in the toughest time of my life, has always been giving me more than I deserve. And I really thank Him for that. So now, as I said, the best way to show to the NSA and to any type of Gestapo out there, and STASI, STASI police, that they try to intimidate us. As you remember, the first hour with our super guest, NSA whistleblower, Mr. William-Binney, was about understanding exactly how much every conversation now that we are doing, like even this radio show on the internet, phone calls, emails, everything, pretty much is being recorded, it's being stored, and it's being analyzed by computers and, of course, also by humans. And all you have to say, as I said before, sometimes even stupid keywords can put you on the list. And guess what? I want to be on that list. I want to be on the top page of that list. Because if I'm not on that list, it means I'm not doing my job correctly. So let me remind one more time. Let me say the first keyword that pretty much will put you on that list so high and tight that is not even funny. It's called, of course, Osama bin Laden. And, of course, also Al-Qaeda. And then, let's say also PORC. Because PORC, for some reason, NSA put it like really a special word. So, Osama bin Laden, Al-Qaeda, PORC, and don't forget, of course, that piece of crap, wannabe Mao Zedong from Kenya of Mr. Obama. Barack Hussein Obama, you are a pig from the New World Order. I mean, you are pretty much, excuse me, let me correct now my English. You are a pig serf of the New World Order. So, pork. Now, pork is better because pork is also the keyword the NSA does not want. So, what am I doing this? You think I'm crazy? No, I'm not crazy. I know exactly what I'm doing. The fact that the moment that we fear, we coward, we lost everything we have. We lost, first of all, our dignity as a human beings. Then we will lose completely our freedoms, and then we will lose exactly everything that's left, or whatever is left of this republic. And I would say the same things if it was Bush. So don't start to get too excited and start to say that I'm a right-wing or some sort of, Republican, because I'm not Republican, I'm not Democrat. I just believe in freedom, and I tell you, I used to say these things before, even when it was Bush. And this is true. This is not Bush or Obama. There is no difference. Obama is doing the same things over and over and more than Bush started it. So this is a serious game, though. That's why I say I'm drinking my little glass of wine. Let me see it 1 second. This is really good, man. Give me really a lot of joy. Enjoy life, wine, friends, and reading good books, and be fearless. And don't get me wrong, fear is good if it's pretty much control. We are human beings, we are not machines, so we're going to be afraid. No matter what, you are not human if you're not afraid. The point is how you, and remember something, without fear, there is no courage, and there is no honor. I mean, we're not here made of plastic and metal and we act like robots. No, we are human beings with emotions. And fear is a big part of our emotions. How we control this fear, how we can dominate it, and also use it as an engine, as a fuel, to give us the strength to be alert, to be aware, and to get the energy to fight back, to fight for our lives, for our freedom. That's, I think, really the difference. Now, I've been talking too much. This wine is really kicking in big time. And I would like to say one more time, just to pretty much make a point. The famous NSA keywords that will put you on that list forever are Al-Qaeda, I say Al-Qaeda, pretty much was created by the CIA in the 70s, but it's okay, Al-Qaeda, Osama bin Laden, and pork. And also I had the fourth magic word, Barack Hussein Obama, who is a big pork, okay? And he is also pretty much a serf of the international bankers, and he works for the New World Order, as he says, by the way. And this is not just me being crazy, but if you read, or even better, if you watch on YouTube, the video with Obama, New World Order, you will see how many times even him repeat the same concept, and worse, New World Order, that we need to have this New World Order, like Bush father wanted. And also, like Mr. Kissinger said, that Obama finally is going to give us the New World Order. So just Google it up. I'm not just trying to insult this bastard, okay? Simple as that. So now, a little bit of music. And don't forget, if you want to support this show, it's very simple. Go to www.zanna.us. And you don't need to be millionaires to support this show. You don't need to spend hundreds of dollars. All you need is 99 cents. And this could be your act of love towards me. I'm not asking you to do what my friend Eric from California did for me. He sent me cases of wine and as a gift for Christmas and before Christmas. That's too much, and I really appreciate it, by the way. But with 99 cents, just 99 cents, you can download any of my songs and share them. I give you my blessing. At the same time, these 99 cents will really help the cause for me to be here and to do what I'm trying to do, okay? So don't go away, stay tuned. You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with Luca Zanna, a little bit of music.
He's a songwriter, a poet, a rifleman,
I'm not afraid.
and a constitutional activist.
I'm not afraid.
Italian by birth,
I'm not afraid.
American by choice. Gianluca Zanna.
I'm not afraid.
And his new CD, Love, Guns, and Freedom. 16 powerful songs on one CD from the heart of a patriot. For download or to order the CD, go to www.lovegunsfreedom.com. That's www.lovegunsfreedom.com. Lyrics for your mind, music for your heart. Gianluca Zanna's new CD, Love, Guns, and Freedom.
And that was Another Day, Another Night, music and lyrics by myself, Luca Zanna. And as I said many times, you can pretty much find all my songs also on YouTube. If you're too broke, you cannot afford 99 cents, that's fine. Go to YouTube and just Google my name in YouTube. Put my name and you'll find most of my songs there. But if you want to support the show, you can afford 99 cents. I appreciate it. Go to Zanna, ZANNA.us, not .com.us, or go to my website of the radio show, lovegunsfreedom.com, and you can download any of my songs. Now, pretty much what we're trying to do here, bring you some news and information about things that I think they are very important, As I said, the show is about love, but also it's about guns and freedom. And I believe that, there are many reasons why we should have a gun. First of all, as I said, for me the gun is a philosophical point, from a philosophical stand, from a philosophical point. It's more important than anything else. It is a right. It distinguish human being, a free human being, from a slave. That's why I always say slaves are never armed. And I am not a slave, because I believe that as a human being, I have the right to own a gun, a weapon, or more than one. And guess what? In Arizona, I don't even need to ask permission from the government. Okay? All I need to be is a law-abiding citizen with no criminal record, and I don't even need to ask and beg for a permit. We have constitutional carry. But now let me show you something that I think it's important, because this is also part of love today. It's a different type of love from a different angle. This is about a video that is out there on YouTube, and pretty much what happened, there is a man, a machete-wielding maniac, as they call it in this article, started to kick in one door of a guy that was living in an apartment. Now, all the reason why behind this guy with a machete wanted to kill this person, I don't know the details, but there is not really need to know anything. Nobody has the right to kill, murder another human being like that, okay? If this guy, for example, had a problem, let's say, if there is still a civil way to take care of problems, not cracking and knocking people's doors and go and try to kill him. Now, listen to this little audio, since you cannot watch the video, gives you the idea, the dynamic. And then we will comment a little bit. Stay here. You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with Luca Zanna. Here we go. Here we start. Okay? This is something very graphic to watch, but maybe listening can be graphic too. Stay tuned. Don't turn it off, okay? So just think about it. You're in your home or your apartment, and there is a crazy guy wielding a machete, and he wants to break your door. And you want to call the police, probably, but...
Oh, my God.
911?
Hey, wait.
Listen.
Do not let him in.
Do not let him in. The guy is locking the door. It's a cheap little wood door. He's locking the door. He has a gun, at least in his hand. And this crazy person is pounding. Oh my God!
I gotta get calm down.
Gosh, he broke the door. Okay, this maniac with the machete, he broke the door in 2 seconds, less than 2 seconds, and like paper. Okay, think about it. You were waiting for the police. Meanwhile, the
Stay down.
The homeowner, he had at least a gun, and he was able to shoot this bastard at least twice. And now the guy is crying, poor little baby. He wanted to kill somebody, then he's complaining. He probably is going to file civil lawsuit.
Stay down.
Okay?
Stay down.
Listen.
Stay down, Dwayne.
Get down, please.
I don't want to do that.
The homeowner has some, humanity. He doesn't want to do it, but he is forced to do it. I mean, think about it. And he's even too nice, in my opinion.
No, don't move. Don't.
I mean,
Bro.
this bastard running through the door.
Why did you do that?
Why did you do that? Why?
A machete in his hand.
Now he's moaning like a dog in hit. Listen. Why did you do that? For me, at that point, the conversation it's over. When somebody tried to kill you, not by accident, is breaking your doors of your home, and on top of you, there is your wife and your child behind. You can hear that. You know what? There is no more debate. There is no more conversation. I mean, this guy is very, very nice. He's having some sort of, compassion that normally I would have, but at that point, this guy still want to get up, and he still want to hurt this man and his family. Listen, he doesn't stop. Okay? The name of the bastard is Twain Thomas. Can he be heard gurgling in pain? Okay?
I had to do it. No, you're good. I've got people on the way. We already had the cops on the way. I don't know if you want to try to just breathe.
I mean, he doesn't stop crying, this bastard. Listen.
Do you know why he did this?
I do not. He's been trapped in this place. He kicked
I heard it.
I wonder what type of caliber did he shoot it with. I mean, we're still talking a lot. Okay.
Breathe. What? You were going to kill me? Well, then I did the right thing.
He wanted to kill him.
Why were you doing that, Dwayne? I told you the other day. I was with you.
Okay, so that's pretty much the story. I mean, you heard the guy also admitted, I wanted to kill you. And all I'm saying, this is a choice. Every one of us should decide. And if you want to be a victim or if you want to be a survivor, if you want to, more than important, you want to be a defender against evil. Because a gun, it is not something for me that takes life. It's something that can defend the life. Now think about it. This crazy person, maniac, with his machete in his hand, it took him less than 2 seconds to destroy a door. This is probably an apartment, cheap doors. Think if this guy, this family man, he did not have a gun with him, and he could not be able to stop this crazy person. Him, his wife, his child. And the guy also admitted, yes, I wanted to kill you. I mean, think about that. Nobody likes violence. I mean, unless you're a psychopath, I don't think this is something that anybody would believe. Because the problem is many people who believe that we should not have gun rights or Second Amendment rights. They want to try to paint the people who believe in the Second Amendment like we have violence. No, we are not violent. Speaking for myself, I hate violence. But that's why the gun can be the biggest violence stopper, can be the first tool to stop violence and to defend life. Think about it. Can you imagine the situation? Put yourself in this family man, feet and shoes, and try to look at the aftermath. If you did not have a gun on you, not that gun somewhere on the safe with a triple lock and maybe 2 rooms away, on you. That's the most important thing. Sometimes we have all these guns, but they're all storage or stashed somewhere. That's why I always believe the moment that you decide to carry a gun, of course, check your state, but especially in the house, that's normally when things happen. home invasion. Nobody really, all these bastards, criminals, they always expect to see their homeowners unarmed, because after all, you feel safe. You are at home. Guess what? That's exactly where you must be harmed, in my opinion. Gun on you, on the holster, in the holster, okay? No even park somewhere around the bedroom or around the table, kitchen table. No, the safest place, it is in your holster, and practice how to present the gun into the fight. Now, this is for me was an act of love. This man, the family man, defended his family. He was very compassionate also with this criminal. He felt bad. I'm Italian. Nobody wants to kill, I believe. There is no joy in killing, but he needed to stop this threat. That's the most important thing. And, he did what he's supposed to do for him and his family. And he proved the point that 911, it's always a few minutes away or too late. That's the point. So I wanted just to share with you this one. It was a good news. A bad guy down, a family saved. And I think, kudos to Twain Thomas, to have pretty much done the right thing as an act of love. Shoot this bastard that was coming through the door, trying to kill him and his family. Great job. Now, talking about love, another thing I would like to remind everybody that it's a great opportunity. It's growing a lot. There is a website that I launched a few months ago. It's called freedomlovers.us. freedomlovers.us. I would like you to go there, check it out. It's free. And first of all, it's 100% free. It's not like free halfway, then they ask you for money, we ask you for money. No, it's completely free. And how it works? Very simple. The freedomlovers.us, first of all, it is the first dating site for freedom-loving individuals. But you don't need to be single. You don't need to be just looking for love to join freedomlovers.us. Even if you're just somebody that, has family, has boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever, you want to look for friends or like-minded people to network. Because what I'm trying to launch is a community, freedom-minded, like-minded community that we believe in freedom. And we can trade, we can do exchange things, and we can help each other. And of course, we can share ideas. So on freedomlovers.us, once you create an account, you also can, first of all, have your own page with your photos, upload your own videos, write blogs, have special chat rooms that you can chat with like-minded people. And also there is a free classified section where you can advertise your services, your products, or whatever you want to do, okay? Just keep it legal, okay? No things that could be illegal. Of course, you're responsible always for yourself. This is just the media that I put out available to the public. So that's all I'm saying. This is the time to know each other. This is the time to also try to have fun, enjoy each other's company. So why not starting at freedomlovers.us? Go there and send me an email. If you have any question, send me also an email. I would like to give you by the way, I'm there. I like to know and meet all people. And there is, for example, just to let you know, new members every day. For example, there have been, incredible, good-looking girls just last week, and we had very interesting men, okay, that believe in freedoms from many parts of the world. This is not just U.S., okay? There are members from, for example, from Europe, from South Pacific. I mean, little bit from everywhere, and I love it because the idea of freedom for me, it's supposed to be a human idea. It's supposed to be not just from belonging to one country. Don't get me wrong. Unfortunately, the rest of the world, you think we got it bad here? And yes, it's getting bad because we are losing all our rights. But on paper, this country had incredible freedom that no other country ever had. Okay, and now it's up to us to try to get it back. That's the point. So this is very important. For example, today I would like to just to share for the ladies, because we always talk about, girls. There is a new guy. His name is Arjon 15. He's 45 from Lomita, California. And it's interesting for serious relationship, okay? He's looking for my one. And there's a real photo is there. You can check him out. And hey, even if it's not your type, maybe can be a good friend, a buddy to go out and, to have a beers together, or to talk, or go to the range. Why not? So, talking about love and freedom loving situation, now I would like to leave you the last part of the show with pretty much a song. And before we close here, I would like to thank you. Thank you for listening. And I would like to thank, first of all, also the guest that I'm having, because I'm trying to bring always guests that they can be more important, more credible to share exactly what's going on. So I want to thank again our first hour guest, Mr. William-Binney, nsa-whistle-blower, and also very much, the second hour, Dr. Peter-Steinmetz, this incredible man that is a professional man, and also he really believes in freedom and in the Second Amendment. And in case you miss him, go to the second hour and listen to his story when he was exercising his Second Amendment, carrying an AR-15 at the Phoenix airport in the unsecure area where it's legal in the state of Arizona to carry a rifle. And of course, he was arrested by the law enforcement from Phoenix. And in my opinion, they really tried to set him up. That was completely wrong, but the man fought back. And if you listen to the show, you can pretty much figure it out how it happened. So, talk to you next Sunday. And thank you again. Don't forget, go to www.zanna.us. Download any of my songs. I appreciate for your help. In case you have an extra bottle of wine, send me an email. I'll give you my address. Thank you. You've been listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with Luca Zanna.
Baby, don't cry. We
You're listening to Love, Guns, and Freedom with Gianluca Zanna on Guerrilla Media Network.